You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. This show is going to be all about the Galveston 70.3 that just went down last weekend that I was in. I had a great race, and in the training log segment, we're going to cover everything that I did leading up to the race, how I executed the race, preparation. We have interviews with Emily and Kai, and it was a family weekend. It was a lot of fun. And in detail, fueling, pacing, gadgetry, tools, who was there, and all kinds of great stuff. And we also have triathlon news with, I think this time we're going to do Morgan again, because he and I talk on the phone all the time anyway. So I just grabbed him for some triathlon news. And I think we're going to go back and forth between Morgan and Go Sonia. And let's see, just a little bit of stuff that's going on. I went into the 70.3 with minimal taper because I'm actually training for Ironman Texas, which is in about 5 more weeks now, 6 weeks after race day, and picked up the training as soon as I could. Just a day or two after the 70.3 to get right back into training mode. I treated the race. It was definitely a significant race. It was like an A-, B+ race for me. And while Ironman Texas is an A+, an A race for me. So the training log has just lots of detail and stuff like that. So the weekend was like super, super cool. I got 21st place in my age group, and I did significantly better on the bike with all the Strong Like Bull Spain bike camp, and put out a little bit more watts on the bike. And then the bike was, there was a nice tailwind on the bike, at least half the way, and not much of a headwind on the way back, more of a crosswind. The wind patterns changed as we went through. And also, this podcast is going to have a lot of me being mobile, because we are in heavy training mode for Ironman Texas, trying to get, starting out at around 21 hours per week and then trying to grow it, as much as possible. End goal is 27 and a half hours a week, which is hard, man. That's really, really hard. But something funny happened this morning. Kai does triathlon practice, which is just a couple nights. They have it like 5 nights a week, and we're like, that's too much for him right now because he's got soccer too. So we're like, soccer, homework, school, triathlon practice. So we skip a lot of practices so that he's rested and we're not overworking him too much. But we did. Emily added up this morning. It's Friday morning. Kai has already done 8.5 hours and he's 9 years old, 8.5 hours of quote unquote training and practice this week. And it's kid stuff, so it's a lot of playing around, and it's not all full exertion. Soccer practice for 9-year-olds is mostly just on there, but it's like time on their feet, and it is exhausting after a while when you think about it. But it's really interesting with the myth that as you get older your metabolism slows down. They've done testing on people that are as active, that choose to be as active as kids. They play adult soccer and do triathlon and stuff. They have the exact same metabolism as teenagers and whatever, as far as, calories burned. And so we added up my hours this week, and I'm at 8 hours, 37 minutes. So I'm only 7 minutes ahead of my 9-year-old, and it's just fascinating that kids can do this much. And they don't even blink twice about it. It's just time on your feet. And I talk about this more in the next few weeks, this week and the next few weeks, that a significant portion of Ironman training isn't really, trying so hard and running and biking in a straight line as fast as you can, it's you can kind of reframe your mindset. Hold on, I'm trying to do a left-hand turn here. That it's really just time on your feet, because the volume is so important. It's not how hard you're trying. It's just to get going. You don't have to run at race pace or at threshold or intervals or whatever. You just need to go out and run and just go jog. And it adds up, because the more you do it, the faster you get without even really trying all that hard. And then also, last night, Endurance Planet with Tawny Prazak released another talk with Phil Maffetone. And it's just so nice to hear him talk. And I love it when they do a podcast with him, because anytime he's on a podcast, because he's so relaxed, man. And it's a sign that he really knows what he's talking about. And his thing is that you really need to pay attention to how your metabolism and how your body fuels itself, and you can kind of work with that. And you don't necessarily need tons of sugar. And the thing that I learned from him that I like toying around with is that you can, if you eat too many carbs, it causes an insulin response. Ooh, a Tesla, cool. Squirrel. It causes an insulin response, which causes you to need more carbs. So it causes a downward spiral crash. So while you're training, I talk about this during the training log, and also during my fueling review of Galveston 70.3, that while you're training, if you eat too many carbs for what you're doing, it temporarily raises your blood sugar with insulin. Insulin has also a side effect where it turns off your fat burning metabolism. So it further propagates needing more carbs because you've raised your insulin. And then it's kind of like an out of control death spiral, like I said earlier, of needing more and more carbs. And then as you need more and more carbs to fuel what you're doing, because you've turned off your fat burning, the insulin has turned off your fat burning, well then, sure, eat more carbs, but then it starts to upset your stomach, and then it makes you sick. And then you can't eat anything, and then you crash, right? So listen into the training log where I talk about the run on this race and how that comes into effect, and also how to train. I'm writing an article actually for somebody that I'll talk about later about how to pay attention to this and how to train in a way where that is your focus. Just the right amount of carbs for you for right now, for how fast you're going, and not to use a formula, but to use by feel, and then that way you can do it all the time, anytime, and it's portable. You can take it with you everywhere and use it for anything that you're doing. So there's that, and we're going to get to the triathlon news here. Except I wanted to mention that it was super cool to find out that at the triathlon I got, like I said, 21st place out of 340 finishers just in my age group. The male 40 to 44 age group is crazy. And I thought I had a remote chance of qualifying for 70.3 Worlds. And I was kind of close, but at the same time, just totally a world away, because I got 21st place. I held back a little bit on the run to kind of experiment with fueling and what I was doing for Ironman Texas. This half Ironman was kind of a test run for MAF running and all that good stuff for Ironman Texas. And I ended up, I was in 16th place starting on the run, and I let it go up, and I finished up to 21st place. And the first three people took all the slots for Worlds. And then there was a roll down from another age group that didn't take it. Nobody in that age group took it. I don't know who it was. So they gave it to the 40 to 44. And then I found out the guy that took that was Dave Mira, who, so fourth place would have gotten me a slot to Worlds. Just fourth. That was it. And not 21st place like what I got. And Dave Mira is a BMX world champion, X Games world champion multiple times over. And he's just started doing triathlon. And I averaged 24 miles per hour on the bike. And I mean, you would think that that's pretty awesome. It's not. Dave Mira passed me at 26 miles per hour like I was standing still. I mean, it was crazy. And it made sense after the race when I found out who that was, that, oh yeah, this guy has, he's a bike ninja. And and then he ran a 7-minute mile, which is actually really, really cool. So he, there's an interview with him on Slow Twitch. And he says, since he was a little kid, he biked 10 miles each way into town from whatever little town he grew up in, or whatever house he grew up in, into town, and 10 miles each way. And so it's time on the bike, just pedaling and getting better and better and better at it, that makes you a superstar cyclist when you grow up. And that's why I'm proud of Kai and him biking everywhere. He bikes to school. And the story behind Lance Armstrong is Lance used to bike or run or something like that 6 miles each way to swim team practice and then bike home again. And when you hear stories like this, you're like, oh, okay, I see how this came together, So that's it. Let's get started with the triathlon news, and then we'll swap over to the training log. Here is Morgan. Here we go. All right, we are here with Morgan Christian.
Howdy.
How's it going?
Howdy.
Howdy.
It's good. Howdy, y'all. It's good. It's
y'all.
good.
And
y'all.
He is going to do the news with us. And let's see, it is Sunday, middle of the day, early April. Got a bunch of little news stories here. And Kai is in the next room watching the regular show.
Yeah.
The episode where Mordecai and Rigby have to hang out for the first time with Muscle Man for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And his my mom jokes.
My mom. You know who likes triathlon news? My mom.
My mom. Anyway. Okay, so I walked by while I was grabbing my laptop and I was watching that for a second. I was like, oh my God. Okay, so which story do you want to start off with? We're doing a shared Google Doc, and we've got our stories listed out.
We got to start off. We got to look at the. We got to talk about this drone thing.
Okay.
we got to talk about this drone thing. For sure.
So a triathlete, where was it? I forgot.
Oh, hold on. Let me pull up the details on that one real quick.
So while you do that,
it's somewhere else.
Not
in the U.S.
It was somebody that was pretty fast too. I think it hit a female, and I think her husband or boyfriend was in the process of getting second place in the exact same race or something like that. But anyway, there's this trend now where people are throwing drones up in the air with a camera to video a race. So you'll see lately and more in the future, maybe after this, video footage from a race. It looks like it's taken by a helicopter. But yeah,
there's a company here in San Diego that makes a pretty good drone, and it's those. And if you haven't seen one before, there's sort of like basically a helicopter with four. Or four rotors, sets of rotors on it,
or something like that.
Yeah, quadcopter basically. And they're, right now they're easy to fly. You can program them to courses, and they're smart enough that when they start running low on battery, they come home.
Well, yeah.
Which is kind of neat.
So
some of them.
The thing is, okay, so there's imagine this one of them just hit this athlete in the head, and I imagine they weigh quite a bit, and there's blades flying everywhere. And she
the
apparently was bleeding and on the ground and had to be tended to by paramedics. And okay, so this is really when you step back a little bit and look at it, this is what's really going on. It's a new technology, right? Sounds cool. So it's a gold rush, right? So people are, if I had a drone, or if I was a race director, I would say, oh, cool, let's get a drone thing up in the air, right? And that's how much I would know about drones in the first place. Get a drone thing up in the air, and then we'll have cool video footage for next, so that more people will sign up next year, right? Okay, I wouldn't know to ask if the drone person operating the drone would. There's so much I wouldn't know. Like they're called a drone pilot, and they actually should be like certified or something, or licensed that they've.
There is a license. I think it's based on size.
Yeah, I wouldn't know to
probably
ask something like that. Not yet, right? Like in
no, you'd look around the room and be like, "Hey, you got a drone? Sweet, let's put it in the air.
Sweet, let's put a GoPro on it." Right? I wouldn't think any of that stuff, right? I wouldn't say, how many hours of operation do you have? I just go, are you good at it? And they'd be like, yeah. All right, let's do it. And so I was reading a thread on this, and somebody was saying that basically the technology is so new that a lot of times the batteries will die so fast that they'll start indicating that they have a low battery, and then immediately start crashing to the ground.
Yeah, bad power controller, things like that on board.
Yeah, it's just that it's so new that it's kind of the Wild West with these things. So the lesson is to, if you're thinking about using one of these in one of your races, or you hear that there's going to be one in your race, ask around and make sure that the person is certified and a pilot and knows what they're doing with this thing, and don't just assume, right? For a while.
Yeah, there's also some conspiracy theories that the drone was hacked. In mid-flight, crap. Which, well, who would think that something like a flying toy could fail?
Yeah,
I hit myself. I had a remote control helicopter for a while, a big one, and I hit myself with that thing once.
Oh, you did?
Because I'm a retard, and it hurt. It really hurt, and so I wouldn't fly it with my kids around because the thing's like it's a flying lawnmower.
Yeah,
it is. I think these are a little bit safer, but I mean, if you think about it, it's a bunch of carbon fiber and aluminum flying around in the air, or plastic flying around in the air, and
right. It loses power. It can drop out of the air, or you lose control of it, and it can fly sideways into somebody and hit them while they're on the bike. So if you're at a race and you see one flying around, keep your eye on that thing.
Maybe they should have helmets on the run now.
Treat it like it's a giant eagle.
Yeah, it's a vulture waiting for you to die during the run.
Yeah, it could just hit you like a falcon or something.
You know what would be cool at races? Yeah. Kind of in a similar vein, something like that. Yeah. A slip and slide, mid-course. And so you could either opt to run by the slip and slide, or you could take the slip and slide.
Where did this come from?
No, I'm just making this up. Okay. Just because it but think about it, right? You can have a section of course, like 100 feet, where you could dive down and hit the slip and slide and be going 15 miles an hour maybe. Right. Nice downhill section. It's like a slide. So it's like you get style points for it or something.
Oh, style points. Yeah. If it comes down to a tie, then if you did the slip and slide,
if you did the slip and slide,
yeah. So Kai and Emily just did a mud run this weekend, yesterday, and there was like a two or three story tall slip and slide on it. There's a Texas World Speedway, and the con tower, the stadium, the backside of it's grass, and so it's it's like a 30-degree slope. It's like crazy, and they put down tarps, one after the other, and held them down with tires. And then you slide down
it. I did a mud run at Camp Pendleton last year, I think, or the year before. Basically everything I wore there had to be thrown out.
Yeah, But
so they literally they went out of their way to get you dirty.
Back to the drone story just a second. The funny side of it is it made for a whole lot of really cool quotes. Like after you get hit, or to the lady, that got hit. This is insensitive, but somebody said this is not the drone you're looking for. Saying that, I hope she's okay.
No, I'm sure she's fine. They said that they had pulled a little bit of rotor blade out of her head, so I bet you the rotor had shattered, and
that's not good.
It was probably. They said she was in stable condition, but it could have been a lot worse, right? Lose an eye, whack you in the face, break your glasses, kind of stuff, and just could have gone really bad. But I guess as long as she's going to recover.
They're not established technology yet. It's new. And that's a lesson with everything that's new. Keep your eye on it. Don't trust it just yet until it's been around forever. Okay.
Indeed.
So Quintana Roo introduced a new bike called the Slip and Slide. No. Called the PR.
I gotta pull up a picture of this thing. This thing is awesome.
So what's interesting, a little world geography for you, is in Canada, they don't say PR. They say PB.
PB, yeah.
Yeah, personal best, not personal record.
It's America's hat.
up in America's attic. America's top hat. In Canada, they say PB. I wonder if Quintana Roo is going to have to, up there they're going to sell it as a PB because everybody's going to be like, what is this a boot?
A.
But anyway, it is a kick-ass bike, man. And
it looks like it follows the same lines as this new generation of the flat top tube.
Yeah.
It follows that same design, and it looks like Quintana Roo has been around for a long time. They may not have
dedicated tri-bike company.
Yeah, they may not have the brand dominance like Specialized or even now like Cervelo, but Quintana Roo is old hat in the triathlon industry for sure. So they definitely
they know what they're doing.
Put some R&D into this,
and they don't. Okay, so if there's a problem where if you're a bike company and you're making a time trial bike, right, that you want to sell it to both markets. You want to sell it to triathletes and to cyclists, regular cyclists. And so regular cyclists, if they race on a bike, that has to fit to UCI, Universal Cycling Institution. That is not what that is.
Well, my new Focus has a sticker on the top tube that says it conforms to UCI.
Yeah, my BMC, I think, is UCI compliant, right? And so the tubes can only be so deep. Quintana Roo gives the big middle finger to all that and says we're not going to worry about selling bikes to cyclists. We're selling them to triathletes, and in triathlon there is no such rule that the tubes have to be only so deep. So they make these crazy deep section tubes and steep geometry and stuff like that, which is awesome for triathlon. And what was the thing? Oh, so the bike is, it looks kind of like, so the BMC gets a lot of kudos for being like a really cool geometry, So this looks kind of like a BMC geometry. And then the problem with a lot of these super bikes is they're hard to work on. The brakes and the cabling and all that crap and assembly and disassembly to travel. Well, disassembly then assembly. To travel is a pain.
No disassemble.
No disassemble, Johnny number 5.
No disassemble.
The is a pain in the ass with a lot of super bikes. I can think like the Trek. What's the Trek one? Anyway, it gets a lot of hate for being really difficult to work on. And actually the BMC TM01, the brakes, all this integrated brake stuff is hard to work on. So Quintana Roo did their best to make it both a super bike and easy to work on.
They've got it down to two bolt sizes. You only need 2 hex wrenches for disassemble and reassembly. And on top of it, so the other cool thing about this too is they made it so the cockpit had That the cockpit. A little shout out there to the real Starkey. You know what you put in a cockpit?
What?
Chickens, roosters, pilots even. Okay, bad joke. But the cockpit is adjustable. So instead of having fixed sized components where you have to monkey with stem length and all this other stuff to try to get your fit right, the bike comes adjustable.
Yeah.
Without having to buy a bunch of new stuff, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Because your fit changes over time, right? So, you start getting, stretched out, you're stronger, all that kind of stuff. You can start making adjustments to make the ride a little more comfortable. This is cool. It's just built in. You don't have to throw away your bars and stuff.
You buy a badass bike, you could get in a whole lot of training on it, and then your position could change, as you get better and more. Let's say you're getting better and better, you're going to get lower and lower, more like a pro, for example, and get more aggressive because you're more capable now. So you want your bike like easy to work on and adjust and stuff. Like the favorite thing on my bike didn't come on my bike. I have an adjustable stem. Like the angle on it is adjustable. So all I need is a Allen wrench, and I can change the angle of my stem from like slammed down, pointed towards the ground, to straight up in the air in like a minute. I can do that. It's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I love that thing. It's awesome. Anyway, so that's pretty cool, and it's got that weird the left not chain. Is it the left chainstay? I guess it's basically what. Yeah, chainstay is super huge, and it's to draw wind over onto that side instead of on the drivetrain side to make it faster. Yeah, they've been doing that for a while now. It's pretty cool. Supposedly it works. They did wind tunnel testing, of course, and numbers are really nice.
Yeah,
so there's
looks
nothing
like the
wrong with that bike.
The base build of this thing too is pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
they're claiming it's $8,500 MSRP US dollars, and it comes with Di2 and some deep round strike wheels, and that right there. I mean, it's out of the box at that price. It is a race ready rig.
Yeah, I would say
sure.
You and I both used to ride motorcycles, and you much better than me. And so I was scared out there. You were out there racing, but you got to treat these bikes kind of like the mindset of when you purchase one of these is if you were out to buy a motorcycle, how much would you spend? You don't blink twice at it. You're like 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 grand, for a decent bike that you're gonna invest your time in. And how much time are you going to be sitting on this thing, and what are you expecting out of it? How many years are you going to keep it? And it's worth it.
For some of these, you do get what you pay for. There's going to be a big difference between this bike and then the entry level. Pick your manufacturer entry level bike. There's going to be a difference in ride quality, and maybe you may not be strong enough to take advantage of it. You may not be pro caliber. You're not pushing 25 miles an hour average, but the opportunity to have a better time, goes up.
My nicest motorcycle that I ever had, I bought used, and I bought it for let's say $6.5 grand, right? $7 grand. And I was riding it probably 10 hours a week, I guess, something like that, and I sold it because I was riding my bicycle longer than that. And so I wasn't riding my motorcycle anymore. So what you're doing and the time spent on it is about the same. So, okay, let's see. Along with Quintana Roo, his new bike, the
rentals.
The rental program is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think for some people, this may be perfect.
It's perfect for me, right? So I just bought a new road bike, and I rode at Oceanside with clip-ons on. But I'm sort of after. We'll talk about this in a second. TJ Tolikson, I think I just butchered his last name. Came up with some new luggage that we'll talk about in a second. But the rental program is pretty awesome. You can get a pretty sweet bike, and it doesn't cost that much. And if you are traveling to a race and you've got a standard, let's say you've got your standard bike box, it's going to cost a lot to get your bike wherever you want to go in a lot of places. So, it's just not.
Yeah. So let's say you're traveling to a race, and you're just a normal person with a $1,000 bike, $1,500 bike, right? And you're like, okay, so I got to buy a bike box. That's $100 probably, or more. And then you're like, okay, so it's $100 each way on whatever airline, if not more, right? So now you're up to $300, and then you're like, and then when I get it there, I got to take it apart. I got to take it apart. I got to set it up when I get there. I got to do the same thing on the way back, and then if the airline smashes it, they just laugh at you when you try to get your money back out of them. They're like, no one should buy a $2,000 bike, idiot, and then sorry. And lots of photos online, right, on Twitter of people's bikes that are smashed from traveling. My bike's all scratched up from traveling to Spain and back. I mean, Emily's got a brand new road bike, and it's scratched up from travel. So Quintana Roo says there's certain races that they're going to be at. Ironman Texas, for example, is one of them. I think it's the first one they're going to be at. But
Texas, Coeur d'Alene, Lake Placid, Boulder, Louisville. They're going to be at Tahoe, which is cool, and a couple others, Florida and Arizona.
Right, and so you show up, you reserve a bike, and they have 2 levels of bike. They have like a pretty damn good bike, and then they have a freaking ninja bike.
Yeah, it's the Cura models. The Fit is the entry level one, and then the second level is their CDO 1.
They're nice bikes.
1. Those are nice, and you can get it either with mechanical shifting or Di2.
Right, and
prices range $249 to $459.
Right. So the convenience the cost of you getting your bike there plus the convenience factor is very similar. They price this where it's just for certain people they're like, ugh, I'd rather do this.
I don't really want to travel with my bike. If I was going to go to Spain and ride
dude,
for 2 weeks,
both ways from Spain, they lost my bike. They're like, well, and they just say, well, it's not, it's going to be on this flight or whatever. No, sorry, no, whatever. It's like, it didn't make the connection, so it's going to be on another flight. I'm like, I'm going to be in another town 100 miles from there. I got to drive all the way back to the airport and get my bike. So both times I had to drive to an airport and go get my bike the next day.
So what did you have to pay to ship your bike on the airline?
It was probably $100 each way. It's European and they don't hate cyclists like Americans do.
Yeah, but you had to. So this is a good segue, right? So, like I mentioned, TJ Tolkson's got that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
That.
Don't call attention to the segue when you do it, though.
Segue. Ta-da! Anyway, he's got this. He came up with this set of luggage that it looks like it's on most airlines. You'd probably have to do a little research on this. I'm just taking a look at the site.
Does it look stupid?
Recently,
Did he put like Hello Kitty crap on it, like Christine would like?
No, it's got kind of a big chicken on the side, but it just says Rooster Sports on it.
It's not stupid.
It's RUSTER sports.com, and the whole thing is if you go look on most of the airlines, they'll have dimensions dimensions that if you fall into, your stuff travels for free, or you just pay your extra bag fee, which is usually pretty cheap, right? $25 or whatever. So usually they'll let you have a carry-on and then something you can check, depending on the airline. But this looks like it's built in such a way that conforms to the dimensions.
Yeah.
Looks and feels like luggage, even though you can tell them it's in a bike or it's a bike, and it's not too expensive, considering the money if you're traveling a lot with your bike.
That's true. Okay, so this is part of the problem, right? We're talking with Quintana Roo. This is $495 to buy this thing list, right? So it's $500. It's soft-sided, which I don't do soft-side. I do hard-side.
The armored one, I don't know how armored it is. Yeah, it's $625.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a problem in our sport. So you can get around all this by racing local.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons I was so excited when there became an Ironman here, just down the road from me.
Yeah, we've got a lot of internationals here by me, and a ton of sprints. I mean, I could literally probably race every weekend if I wanted to around here. But the longer races, there's just California, the California Ironman in Oceanside, and then I got to either go to I can drive to Arizona, but there's really no other real big ones. There's a Super Seal, which is another one down here, but there's no full Ironman that I wouldn't have to drive to.
Yeah. Well, props to TJ. He's this crazy engineer / triathlete that's always coming up with solutions for the sport. So good for him, man.
Spell his last name real fast.
Oh. Hobbit something. I don't know. Oh, Tollakson.
There you go. All right.
Tollakson.
Tollakson. You got to throw your accent on there. Tollakson. All right.
Leave off. There was more.
Yep. There was more.
Race results.
There.
Okay.
Oh, I have race results.
No, wait. Before that. Okay, I picked up my race number stuff. My packet, I guess is what they call it. Duh. And my race number stuff.
What
are you? At Galveston, right? 70.3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And while I was picking it up, there was this lady that was waving her arms all over the place, and there was this line to go into the big tent to get your stuff as Emily and I were walking out of the line. And this lady was yelling at the line, if you're an all-world athlete, raise your hand or come with me or something like that. And I thought,
what does that
what
mean?
the hell is that? And God, I'm too busy to worry about that. Some other thing that Ironman's come up with now to take people's money or something. And so as I exited through the gift shop, right? So then I'm like back at the drop my bike off at transition area, and then I'm back at the hotel room and I'm putting together my my bib, and I got this sticker on my bib, and it says AWA and all world athlete, right? And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm whatever they were talking about. And then I Googled it, and basically there's 3 levels. There's gold, silver, and bronze. And bronze looks kind of like silver, or kind of like gold in a way. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm gold. And then I looked up a photo, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're bronze. So anyway, it's if bronze is top 10% of Ironman finishers, silver's 5%, gold is 1%.
Oh wow, yeah,
and,
interesting.
And the bonus is you get to cut in line for certain things. So it's kind of like a frequent flyer, first class flyer program, which is kind of nice because it's not something you can really buy your way into except for racing.
Yeah.
And so, but then I was reading some people's reaction to it, and they were saying that even though they had the sticker on their bib, they still didn't cut in line in front of other people to pick up their packet or register early or whatever it was, because it just made you look like a dick, like I'm better than you, so I get to go first.
Yeah.
So I think they got to watch out for this. Like it can shoot them in the foot in this. You know what I mean?
Well, they tried that prior. Do they still have that priority registering feature?
Oh, there was that one thing they had to. There was that one thing they had to roll back because people got pissed.
Yeah, it was the $1,000. You paid $1,000
and what did
to be in the whatever program it was, and then you had early access to registration. So if you could throw another $1,000 at WTC for
yeah. Oh, that reaction was like whatever it was. That reaction was like they were like, oh crap! It really pissed off a lot of people. So,
yeah, I think it's a huge. I recall that being a
triathlon. The whole sport has this big problem where because it requires you can buy speed with the bike, and bikes are crazy expensive. That there's a perception, which is at least partly based on reality, that it's a rich person sport, and that we're just talking about like this travel, right? All this travel and these bike bags and all this other stuff. And triathlon used to be really, really cheap. And now with people being able to buy their way into races, and then what annoys me is a really wealthy person can get into a race and do, just buy their way all the way up to the front and do pretty well by buying like the greatest equipment, and then they never even hang around. They were like one and done. They're like, I did it, and it was just to show off to some other people at work that did the same thing at their jobs.
Yeah, but it's still, it's a life adventure, right? But I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You and I talk every once in a while about there should be a qualifier for Ironman. And I don't like it that there isn't one. I don't like it that I'm involved in a race where there's the potential for somebody to kill themselves in the swim, for example, or on the bike because they don't have any good bike handling skills, but not just themselves, but hurt a ton of people around them.
Yeah.
Because now they're without any kind of qualifications at all. They were able to register for and get started in what's known as like the most difficult thing that you can do.
I think at least maybe not a qualifier, but they can adjust the way that the waves are stacked. So in the case of my complaint from Oceanside was, I was kind of running into the swim was crowded. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of traffic in the water. It would have been nice. I would have done a bit better if I had clear water to swim through. Not a big deal. It's part of the adventure, right? You got to navigate, get doing these other things. But I think if you, being an experienced full distance 140.6 competitor, I think that potentially with the money involved, you would deserve the right to be slotted with other experienced athletes. So you don't have to worry that somebody's not, ready to swim the distance. You don't have to worry about scaring anybody else.
Well, and like you and I have both done open water swims. They want qualifying times for you to do these things. Like I did the Tortuga here in Conroe.
Yeah.
They're like, it's a 5K, so 3 miles. And they're like, you got to show proof that you can swim 1 mile and whatever. Like they had all these qualifying times, and you had to submit proof. And that's almost an Ironman swim. I mean, it's more than an Ironman swim, but just barely. And they're not going to let you do it unless you can prove that you're going to be able to finish, or that you're not going to drown out there. So.
The Manhattan Island Marathon swim, MIMS, has a qualifier too. Like you can't just show up and do it. Right. It's an event. Like it's a multi-stage event, but it's a long swim, right? It's around the island.
Oh, but almost every swim's like that. Almost every swim that's a longer open water swim, has qualifiers in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Ironman has a 2.4 mile long open water swim and no qualifier. This is crazy.
And you're crammed in with experienced, non-experienced, all in the same space.
But then if you say, well, we want a qualifier, well, then all of a sudden a whole bunch of people aren't going to sign up for Ironman anymore, and WTC loses out a ton of money, right? They're going to be like, oh, I don't want to go through the qualifier. Well, that's all they're doing is missing out on a money opportunity, right? So Ironman brand could say they could start setting up qualifier swims and charge.
Qualifier waves. They could charge for the qualifier swims. They could create qualified waves. Mm-hmm. So you can still have the open enrollment, but you'd have a series of qualified waves that gave you priority morning start.
Yeah, Ironman's coming to your local lake, your local ocean, right? And it's just a swim, and it's a 1 mile swim, 2 mile swim, right? Whatever it is, and they record your time, you do it. It's a race. It's a fun event. And then now that you've qualified, and they make money off of it, right? And then now that you've qualified, now you can do the full Ironman.
Yeah, I don't.
How about that, dude? No one's ever mentioned that yet.
I think they could probably cut that idea up and come up with something that works.
Yeah.
That not only makes them more money, but makes it safer.
Makes more, yeah, because that's the thing. Is like, well, if we make it safer, we're going to lose money. Well, here's a way to make it safer and make money.
Well, they came up with that. They also had that thing where they had it was legal for you to grab onto the flotillas and go over and
you know what? All it does is make it really obvious about who shouldn't be out there.
Yeah, but also, you know, for our cases, like it's the people that you don't want to run over are getting out of the way.
Yeah,
and that's cool, right?
Galveston,
they want to take a break.
And right from the beginning, there was people hanging on to those things, like from the waves in front of me. They were like, "Holy crap!" You know, and it's like, yeah, this is scary stuff, man. Okay, let's move. But they're not disqualified, right? So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So let's see. The Poolmate Live. What? The
Poolmate Live. Yeah, I was going to bring that up before. Actually, I want to talk about Craig and his swim from the Farallons. But after we talk about the Poolmate and then that new Garmin.
Okay.
The Garmin 85,000, 3,000, 2K.com.
Let's do the Garmin first. So Garmin released the Garmin 1000, and my comment on the whole thing on DC Rainmaker did a really good review. Is it brought out the retro grouch in me. I'm like, Jesus, man, this thing does just too much. It's crazy. And somebody else said, why don't you just strap a laptop to your handlebars, and and bungee cord it? Because this is freaking overkill, like big time. And some people were like, oh, this is really cool. It does a whole lot of Bluetooth. It connects with every single freaking thing on the planet. It does everything. It post Bluetooth alerts constantly on it. It's bigger, so it takes up more space. It's so big that you can actually turn it sideways, and it does it in landscape mode. and just so it brought out the retro grouch in a lot of people, you know, that were like, this is too much. You know, cycling's supposed to be a sport where you just get out and ride and enjoy the open road. And and I think it is true. There's a point where it's just too much, like gadgets and digital connectivity and all that stuff. And I think it's different for different people, right? And in me, this one was too much. This thing does too much stuff to keep on top of and then go wrong, and it's taking you out of the enjoyment of cycling.
Yeah, it's like staring at your watch too much while you're running. Like you get sort of wrapped up in the gadgets, the numbers, and the distractions, and you're not actually.
I mean, this thing's like to the point
get anything done.
I mean, literally, if you have text messages coming to your phone about the stock market, this thing will display them. So you can be like, yeah, you're trying to focus on your ride, and bang, 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 and it's like Yahoo has gone up 1 point. You know, like, okay, you know, I'll check on that, you know, later. I think that you and I both think that tracking and being able to tell your spouse or family or friends where you are.
Oh, absolutely. That's
really
huge.
Good. But, you know, the way you and I like it and the way I think that works is you start it and then you don't have to think about it. Right?
Yeah, it's just passive once it's going. You don't have to monkey with it.
Yeah. So there's an art to making things kind of in the background, and so that you can enjoy what you're doing. And I'm sure with this one you could do all that. You know, you could make it so that
it looks cool. But I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this photo of it. Looks like, dude, it looks like a guy's got a laptop strapped to his. It's as big as an iPhone. It's enormous.
Yeah, it is enormous.
Okay, that's not so bad, right? It's not so bad.
But then somebody was like, well, I'm old and I don't have good vision, you know, and I want to be able to see it better. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I could understand. Oh, and the other thing is it's really expensive. It's like $600.
$599 if you get what's the bundle? The bundle's another $100, so $700 for the Edge 1000.
The retro grouch in me, what I posted was, I remember when I was a kid and I'd hop on my mom's bike and she had that gadget on the front hub that clicked over with every revolution, and eventually it would tell you how many miles you went. It was like this little mechanical gizmo that went on the wheel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it would count revolutions, and the revolutions were converted into miles, I think.
My dad had this old Nishiki. Yeah, whatever happened to Nishiki? They dropped.
I was riding on a Huffy, dude.
Dude, my dad had this Nishiki, and he had a headlight for it that maybe put out like
it's like radioactive,
half a lumen.
Yeah.
Barely cast a glow. You could.
There was a candle with a hurricane in a hurricane.
But it had this thing that it was a friction. It was powered by friction. It would sit over the tire, and you'd basically be riding, and it would climb. And
it had a friction roller on it that would power it. Yeah, but it's better than not having any light. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so there's that, and okay, so the Poolmate Live by Swimovate was really interesting. I read this review. And I was like, this thing's pretty cool because what I like is that it vibrates on your swim laps. So you can, right now when I swim and I want to count, I want to see how fast I'm going per lap, I'm relying on a beep or actually looking at my watch during my turn, right? Which I've gotten good at.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm swimming, I've got a Finis Swim Sense.
Yeah.
That I like quite a bit, and I know that you've got the Ambit that has all the swimming stuff in it. I don't know anybody that's got a Garmin 910, the triathlon watch that has the swimming stuff in it, but I've heard that it's pretty good. Like the results, turned out pretty good. But the whole vibrating thing is pretty cool.
Yeah. So what raised my eyebrow was it vibrates when you on it. You can get it to vibrate on an interval. So you can say, I want to swim 50s or 25s or whatever on a whatever interval. So you program it in, and it'll vibrate, so you can feel it on your wrist. That's freaking cool. And, so then you can go, okay, I want to feel what a certain pace feels like without having to look at my watch. And this will do it. And
it's getting trickier and trickier. I think that there's been a lack of good tools in the water for a long time.
Totally, yeah.
And now they're starting to figure out like what the right feedback stuff is, and the what is it? The Finis thing that clips on your ear that gives you your pulse audibly.
Yeah,
it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a step forward. And with me, with swimming tools and whatnot, this thing's actually very inexpensive.
Yeah, it was
compared to some of the other watches. Yeah, it's $125. It looks like.
That's actually a really cool tool. So if I was a coach, which I am, and I was telling somebody how to get faster in the pool, and this would be one way to do it for sure. I'd be like, okay, figure out how fast you swim like 1,000 yards, and figure out your pace. Now set your vibrate motor on the thing so that every 50 is just half a second faster than what you were doing, right? And just get faster and faster and faster. Figure out what form and technique makes you faster. That's all you got to do, and you don't even have to pay attention to anything, man. It vibrates on your wrist. You better catch up.
It also
falling off
another bonus with this one is that the frequency that it communicates with allows you to get heart rate in the water, which is something you can't do with some of the other watches.
Oh, so it's the old,
right now.
It's the analog.
Yeah, it's the old frequency. But hey, that's great, right? Because the point is you're in the water. It's built for you to be in the water.
Yeah. Okay. And then Shimano introduced a 105 group that is probably as good as Dura Ace was 5 years ago. I'm riding with the Dura Ace. I'm riding with Dura Ace on my old bike. On my bike, it's old. It's 7-8 years old now, and I bet you this 105 is probably as good. Yeah, how about that? Pretty nice, eh?
Well, that's what happens. You get all the hand-me-down
trickle down effect.
Trickle down technology. Imagine when we've got Shimano 105 integrated digital shifting, right? Mm-hmm. When it gets down to there and it becomes a little more affordable, that'll be pretty insane.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with 105. It doesn't shift quite as crisp, But unless you're a rocket surgeon, you're not really going to notice all this stuff. So Ultegra is as much as the average person ever needs to get. Dura Ace is just like you're showing off. And let the pros get that for free. Don't even buy it. Like, pros wouldn't buy that. They'd probably race with Ultegra, you know? And but Dura Ace is like your bike is sponsored by somebody, and they're putting it on there. That's when you buy Dura Ace. Ultegra is the best that any normal human can tell that it's working. And then 105 is just a step down from that and works just fine.
And not a very far step.
Yeah. I mean, like, you'd have to be a fighter pilot to tell the difference, you know? Okay, so let's wrap this up with a news story that you found.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy. We both met this guy.
Yeah, so when I went out to go do my Lake Tahoe crossing, a guy was there doing it a couple of days before me, a guy named Craig Lenning. He's a very accomplished marathon swimmer. Mm-hmm. He's done the North Ireland Channel, Saguaro Channel in Japan, and a bunch of others. He's been slowly ticking off the Ocean 7 series of channel swims around the world.
He swam where in Japan? Where'd you say?
Saguaro Channel. I think I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's like TSUGAURO, Saguaro Channel. Mm-hmm. It's one of the Ocean 7. Yeah. Anyway, he just on April 8th swam from the Farallon Islands to the South Farallon Island to Muir Beach, California. The swim measured in statute miles is 25.7, so almost 26-mile swim in rough water in the Pacific, open ocean. There's places where sharks breach the water.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. Yeah. This is a breeding ground.
Out, as we've seen, photographic proof. They come flying out of the water and grab onto divers hanging out of choppers.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, and that shark is huge. It's as big as the helicopter.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
That was actually
right near the
totally for real shot, because I think the Golden Gate Bridge is in the background or something like that. So this is that area, right?
Yeah.
So
anyway,
it's from the Farallon Islands, which is great white shark heaven. To
it's very treacherous body of water.
Ever.
And it hasn't been done in the last 47 years. Mm-hmm. And he pulled it off in 15 hours and 47 minutes. If I was a dolphin, I wouldn't do this.
So
I've seen Craig swim. Craig swims fast.
Yeah.
For him, he covered 25 something miles, right, in 15 hours.
Yeah.
I did 22 and 14. Like this kind of points out like how difficult that water was to get through. But that's a pretty big thing.
When you were doing your swim, I met this guy. And
yep.
You and I had both worn wetsuits. So you're wearing a wetsuit and it's cold and all that stuff, right? And I'm in the boat throwing up almost, feeling like I've been kicked in the nuts over and over again. And then I don't know where I met this. Like, did I meet him out on the water? Yeah, I think he came out on a boat.
Shore. I think
No, I think he came out on a boat.
Oh, you met him on shore.
Well, anyway, this guy, this big, like, bear-looking dude is... Jamie said that he had just swam Lake Tahoe, which you were doing, just like a couple days before, and did it in some ridiculous time, like 11 hours or some crazy crap.
9, 10 hours.
Yeah,
without a wetsuit. He was going out to do a double.
Yeah, without a wetsuit. I was like, holy crap. And the funniest thing was he was wearing a Waffle House t-shirt.
And a fun fact on Craig, he's a beekeeper.
Oh yeah, and he's a beekeeper. Yeah,
he's a good dude. You should reach out to him and have him on the show. He's
totally my definitely type of guy. I love people that are just like super super badass, and then wear wear a Waffle House t-shirt, like totally.
And he said,
yeah,
he was extremely ironic. Yeah.
Believe me, he looks like he goes to the Waffle House. I mean, I think he's a fan.
Could be. He said something really important to me before I did my swim. He asked me if I was going to wear a wetsuit, and I said because it made the swim attainable. The water's freezing, as you know.
Yeah.
And he actually said, there's no shame in that game. You're still gonna swim across that lake,
yeah,
and you're gonna finish it, and it's gonna be super hard. So don't even stress it.
So
and
yesterday,
it's kind of cool.
It made me think. This crazy stuff when we do this crazy stupid stuff that's like really really hard, it makes everyday challenges so much easier, right? It makes your mental toughness and your physical toughness a lot easier because you can draw on those times, you know. So I was swimming yesterday and the water was too cold. I was swimming in an unheated pool that's not even open yet. I snuck in. I'm swimming around in it for an hour, and my hands started going numb, and I kept swimming because I'm like, man, it's not quite as cold as Alcatraz or Tahoe, you know, like this other stuff that I swam that's that cold. I go, I know this isn't going to kill me, right? Because you've pushed yourself to some crazy extremes. You know what's going to kill you and what's not, you know? And when I got out of the water, I was numb. I swam for an hour in this stuff. I got out of the water, I was numb, and my heels were numb, dude. Talk about weird. Like I'm walking on the pool deck, and I can't feel my heels. and I was kind of dizzy a little bit, you know, and my left hand was numb. My right hand was kind of okay. And I was so cold for so long. When I got back to the house, I had to go lay in bed and wear a jacket and a beanie hat to go warm up in bed. I took a nap to warm back up. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, dude, the water, it was at most, you know, at coldest like upper 60s at most, right?
Well, like, you're also cruising around with like zero. You're getting a little Skypey.
Oh. Well, I'm still here, dude. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like it really wasn't all that cold, you know? My watch has a temperature gauge on it, and I was looking at it, and it was reading 70, but I know it's colder than that because it's against my wrist. So it was actually colder than that. So that what do you think the temperature was of this swim that this guy did? Probably.
Oh my gosh!
Upper
I mean,
50s,
the Pacific's not all that warm. I mean, the
60s?
Pacific's warming up, right? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be in the 50s. I'm sure. He probably hit some cold spots, splashes, splooshes, sections, whatever.
The whole thing is a cold spot.
Yeah, but you know, like marathon swimming, marathon swimmers are not necessarily built like triathletes.
No,
they
the
purposely end up carrying a little bit of extra, and even then they get cold. I mean, they're not totally immune to it, but
no, they have problems too.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly it's a different style of sport, and actually having a little bit of extra works in your favor. So you know,
real quick,
with all things being equal.
Guy. Craig Linning Farallons.
Yep.
And should have had this linked. Brett. Go. Man swims. I like that.
1, 2, 3 internet.
You get that T-shirt from the Onion. It says Area Man. It says
Area Man.
47 years since somebody's done it.
Yeah. Yep. And he, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie, our friend Jamie, Jamie Patrick.
He was on the boat or something.
He was on the boat, and Night Train Swimmers, which is a group of swimmers out of San Francisco, do a bunch of stuff for charity. That I know a couple of guys from there. We're out there crewing for him.
He wore grease to retain some body heat.
Yep, channel grease.
He ran into a school of jellyfish darker and bigger than your typical jellyfish. They don't say the temperature. He was 800 meters from shore when he got stuck in an eddy. It took 45 minutes to get through it.
Yeah. He told me a story about the North Ireland Channel that his first attempt, he covered like 200 yards in 2 hours. Something ridiculous because of the way things were. And it wasn't anybody's fault. It was nobody's fault. It just happened to be bad timing that he was in the water. But he got caught in an eddy. how disheartening is that? Am I moving?
Yeah.
Am I getting anywhere?
Yeah.
No, actually not.
I remember you were like that. That was so great.
Yeah.
Am I going anywhere?
That's pretty. That is a very impressive swim.
Yeah.
Almost 30 miles right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So big day for marathon swimming. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool, man. Shows you what you can do.
I also
don't do it though.
No, I'm not.
Let crazy people do that stuff.
1, 2, 3. No thanks.
Yeah, not out in the sharks. No thanks. Not that many sharks.
No. Can you imagine if you had a wetsuit on, you look even more like a seal?
Yeah. Well, he's pretty.
Not good.
He's a white guy, and the photos I'm watching of him, I mean, he stands out, dude. He looks like a big, like a larva out there in the water.
Yeah, he's a big
he looks
dude,
delicious. Sure. If I was a shark, I'd be like, oh my God, it's a freaking marshmallow. You know? Yeah. But I guess, you don't want to look like what they're used to eating. So.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Show.
That's it. That's the news.
Yep. Oh wait, hey, I got. You want to bust through the results of the 4 70.3s down this weekend?
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna cruise through it real quick.
And significance.
So, first place.
Yeah.
First place. We'll do Ironman New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Andy Potts with a 3:50.36 finishing, and then Lauren Barnett with a 4:21.34. Potts got the swim done in 22 minutes and 8 seconds. It's insane.
I've done that race.
But the cool thing is the women's pro field from first place to 8th place was all USA.
All right.
Very cool. Yeah, kind of gnarly. Cool. And then Ironman Florida. Mm-hmm. I'm going to butcher this dude's name. Victor Zementsev in a 3:54.26 for the men, with Greg Bennett in second place. I'm going to tell you why that's important in a second.
Yeah.
And then Caitlin Snow took it for the women's top spot with 4:13.37. It's freaking smoking. Yeah. But the cool thing is that Greg Bennett's wife Laura was 5th in the overall women's field. So it's a good day for the Bennetts at Ironman Florida. And they've been around for a while too. They've definitely got some history. They're very 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 experienced athletes. And Starkey, Andrew Starkowitz, took the top men's spot in Ironman Puerto Rico.
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
It's Puerto Rico.
Oh, he
can
finish 3:30.
He can, and it looks like he can run too. Out of the pros, he put down a 1:22 on.
Yeah, 1:22.
1:22.
Yeah.
The guy who came in second ran 1:17, but the times look like they're mostly hover around the 1:20s, which isn't bad. But of course, he laid down a bike split that was ridiculous.
45 miles.
He swam competitively. He swam competitively at 24 minutes, but his bike was 6 minutes faster than everybody else, so it's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And then the women, Sophie. Oh no! Oh man, here we go. I'm going to totally mess this one up. It's Heil Fredriksson. It's probably pronounced Haya, Helle, Haya Fredriksson for the women.
Oh yeah.
In Puerto Rico. 4:14.27. I've seen her name come by a couple of times. I'm starting to see pro names that I don't recognize. Mm-hmm. And then the last race that I've got is Ironman.
Always.
Yeah, Putrajaya. Yaya. I have no idea where this is.
Boutros, golly.
It's Boutros.
Desmond Tutu got third.
And another name I'm going to butcher, Brad Caulfeld. Caulfelt with a 3:55.36, first place male.
Which race is this?
And then this is Ironman Putrajaya. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Putrajaya. Again, I have no idea where this is in the world.
Yeah.
And then Radka Vodakova with a 4:23.09.
Yeah, that's a cool name, Radka. I remember that name. I was like, man, that's a cool name.
Yeah, right. But anyway, that's it. There was a lot of racing this weekend, and those are the major ones. So
All right.
That's it. I think that is the news.
We had a whole lot of opinions
all the news
and a little bit of actual news in there.
Well,
Cool.
You know what they say about opinions.
They're like airports.
They
They're
start
like
with
bike
an O and
luggage.
end with an S.
Everybody has one. So,
And sometimes you get charged for them. All right.
cool. All right, man. Thank you very much.
Right on.
All right.
All right. Catch ya.
All right. Thanks a lot, Morgan, for the nice news segment. Man, that one went on for an hour. I think it was going to be like 20 minutes. But I like having Morgan on. He's thinking about starting up his own podcast about tech news and productivity, which actually he knows a ton about. He's an internet wizard. So let's keep tabs on him and see where he's going with that. I also wanted to mention that in the training log that's coming up here in just a few minutes, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show. Kai, my 9-year-old triathlete son who's been doing triathlon for 3 years now, and often podiums and does really well. He's a really good triathlete. He's going to start us with Kai's Coaching for Kids segment. And this episode, it's going to be how to do the swim, an indoor swim in a pool, or I guess outdoor too, at a kids triathlon. And so if your kids are thinking about doing a triathlon, or also the advice is good for parents on how to deal with your kids doing a triathlon from the parents' perspective. So that's in the training log coming up here in just a few minutes. And let's see, I had a couple of Zen thoughts for you. We have a lot of debate on the internet with and people leading groups of high carb, low carb, and all this stuff. And I've come to figure out, I want to promote a message of that it's, don't worry so much about high carb or low carb. Instead, think of right carb. And what that means is that there's the right amount of carbohydrates for you to use for your body, that your body needs right now. And if you pay attention, if you use Zen and you pay attention to what's going on around you and how your body's reacting to things, and kind of pull yourself out of being so involved in the mix that you're not paying attention anymore, you can eat the right amount based on what you need. And if you are mindful of how your body feels later and how your body reacts to it, then you can start to zero in on what's the right carb for you. So the problem with saying low carb or high carb is, and creating a dogmatic approach to eating, is you create a situation where sometimes you need carbs, a lot of carbs, and that will solve your problem for right now, but you've set up a rule where you can't do that. And sometimes you don't need carbs and you shouldn't be eating carbs, but you've set up a rule that carbs are great all the time, and that's not the right solution for you right now either. You need to be flexible. And if you subscribe to too much low carb or high carb as a lifestyle, then you can find yourself, find yourself in trouble. And what it does is it leads to extremes, and extremes are not necessarily all that good. Well, they're unhealthy. And so instead of low carb or high carb, think right carb. The right carb for you right now might be low carb, and it might be a majority of the time, or it might be higher carb, depending on your body type and what you're doing, a majority of the time. The whole trick is to just pay attention. So get away from that low carb, high carb, and just think right carb. And then I came across an article about how to be liked more, and how not to be so freaked out and make things worse. So it's basically it's the art of doing nothing when a situation is presenting itself. So you want to impress somebody, so you start talking, and then you talk so much that you end up making things worse, and the person doesn't even want to hang out with you anymore because you're annoying because you've talked so much. This comes up. Well, I have a friend that used to be a mall cop, and they would bust. Well, he also used to be a military police officer when he was military. He said that they're busting somebody for shoplifting. They don't have to do anything. They just put them in a room and sit them down and just don't say anything. And he said within minutes the person is blabbing about everything that they've done and telling on everybody that helped them and everything. And that was without asking any questions at all. So when you're nervous, you end up talking a lot. And this also, when you're stressed, you want to be liked, or you're making a tough decision. Instead of talking a lot or reacting, a lot of times you should do nothing and just wait. And a whole bunch of options will soon present themselves. And then pick the best one. Oops, my recording got cut off there. I'm going to have to re-record this bit. Such as technology. Okay, anyway, I was saying that don't react too fast to things. And actually what you're practicing is doing nothing and then watch what happens. In a stressful situation, don't react. Do nothing and watch how you actually didn't need to react. And in the end, you taking your time and either not reacting at all or not reacting for a while presents a better solution for you to react. Because there's two things. One, the nervous energy is off-putting to other people. There's a thing in humans, animals, maybe plants, where when we see somebody getting nervous, we try to avoid them because we don't want to be stressed out. so it's a sign. Other herd animals sometimes just kind of get away from you because there's a problem, and they don't want the problem. So you'll find you get less help, and people shun you a little bit when you start acting weird like that. And then a lot of times the better solution presents itself later anyway. You can tell people that are very professional and successful don't react too fast. They pause and wait a while and then react. And let's see, I want to cover some donations. Okay, so you can donate to the podcast to help cover bandwidth. And we're moving from Mevio to SoundCloud, which has a higher price, but Mevio's no longer going to host stuff. So donations really do help out. You can go to ZenTriathlon.com, and on the left-hand side, there's a donations section. If you find anything on this podcast that is useful to you and you want to return the favor, then this is how you do it. So we have recurring donations and one-time donations. And if you do a one-time donation, there's a little space that it's just PayPal's the way they do things, a little place where you can put a note. And in there, ask me a question or put in a comment, and I'll read it on the show. Okay, so we have Ken Soderquist, Michael Hildick, Melissa J. Boudreau, Daniel Stark, Simon Wright, Christopher Allen, and then 2 donations that are going towards Kai's bike fund, which we're going to talk more about in the training log. Keith Burtis and Matthew Bates. Thank you so much. Kai is super excited about his bike that's coming, and as long as he keeps working at it, and we're going to go put this money on a layaway. And we're teaching him that that's actually how you buy a bike, is a layaway if you can. And then that way the goal of the bike, it's at a store just down the street, and it's there waiting for you. So every time you have spare cash, you go put money down on it, and then you're not going into debt. You're buying it gradually, and then you've really worked for it. And so you'll really take care of it. And that's the way you do it. I've bought a lot of bikes on layaway, and it really does work. Bikes don't change that much from year to year, so he's not missing out on anything. Okay, we have a sponsor, Mountain Madness Half, Sunday, May 4th in northern Georgia. This is such a cool race. you want to go check it out. It is a half iron distance, and let me scroll up here. It's half iron distance. It's in the mountains of northern Georgia, and they have King of the Mountain and Queen of the Mountain competition for this monster 6-mile climb up the side of a mountain. So it's a really hilly half Ironman. And I love half Ironmans. You're going to hear all about it in the Galveston report. And you definitely want to check it out. Huge lake, beautiful lake, Carter's Lake, and mountain valleys, and just beautiful. And our title sponsor is All 3 Sports. So you Google that, and also you can go to Zone 5 Events. 5 is the number 5. Zone number 5 events.com, and go check it out. zone5events.com/event/mountain madness is the name of the race. So thank you guys for being a sponsor of the show. And I guess let's go ahead and get started with the training log. Really, really good stuff in this one, guys. Lots of cool racing tips. And again, I did 4 hours and 40 minutes at age 40 for a half Ironman. A really flat and fast half Ironman, but one nonetheless. And you're going to get all kinds of tips on how I trained, what I ate, what I did wrong. I did lots of stuff wrong for sure, and what I would do differently, and then a little insider's view in being a spectator from Emily and Kai, and lots of interviews with other people that showed up, and bumping into them, and just crowd noise. It's really cool, man. So I really take you there. I love that part of the show. So all right, here's the training log. Here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name is Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! Yeah! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
All right, training log. Start date. April 4th. I had to look at my watch. I don't know what date. April 4th, 2014. And we are in the middle of the quickening for, let's see, Galveston 70.3. It is Friday morning. I just went to swim. I'm going to do a half-day work, and then we're going to drive to Galveston. We'll have lots of Kai and Emily on here in a bit. And the race is on Sunday. We're going to drive up Friday afternoon, evening, and then spend the day Saturday hanging out at the expo and picking up any triathlon gear that I might need. And let's see, I dug up my wetsuit last night, and I kind of wanted to wear my sleeveless one. I have a really nice DeSoto full sleeve wetsuit that's really flexible and beautiful and stuff. I wanted to try something. Some of my fastest swim times have been in a sleeveless wetsuit, and it's a cheap sleeveless wetsuit. And there was a study that came out that not a lot of companies wanted to talk about, in that the stiffer the wetsuit was in the body, not flexible, low-grade rubber. Actually, the faster the swimmers went because it keeps your body rigid like a board. And if you push a board through the water lengthwise, it just cruises through really fast. So, and then if your shoulders are free, you can just sit there and spin your arms. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So the wetsuit was stored. It's an old Xterra that's probably 10 years old, but I wear it every once in a while. Well, it was stored in the garage in the heat. For some reason, it was inside out, and it might have had water in it, it might not, when it was hung up. And it ended up, the slick surfaces in lots of places ended up sticking to each other. And then when I pull it apart, it's ripping rubber apart. Like, it's just tearing the shit out of stuff, man. And so I'm like, I might wear it one last time and then be done with it. And then I was like, man, I don't want to buy another sleeveless wetsuit because I've got a really nice DeSoto sleeve. And then I thought, a DeSoto's two-piece. I can buy the DeSoto vest. I'm tall, and so the DeSotos fit really, really well because they're 2-piece, and they allow you to wear a wetsuit without it jamming up into your crotch. Okay, so I might look for that vest. If there's that vest at the expo, I might pick up one of those. I've been cutting down on workouts. This is good training stuff right here. As the race gets closer, starting about 6 days out, I started cutting back on workouts. Either the number of workouts or the length of workouts, and it just kind of depended, and definitely the intensity at times. And what I did was I just used convenience as a factor, except for swimming. So, well, no, okay. If I couldn't go work out, then I'm like, instead of fighting for the workout time like I usually have to do, I'd be like, well, the race is coming up, I'll skip this one. And that's a method, to start tapering, is start allowing your life to interfere with your training. Well, then you're getting your life stuff done that you need to get done, and you're tapering at the same time. So then, let's see, if we work backwards, today's Sunday, the race is on Sunday, so I did my last swim on Friday, right? So 2 days out, I swam. And 3 days out, I did my last run, but it was a very casual run. I wasn't even looking at the pace or anything like that. I ran for an hour, but it was just easy. And then 4 days out, I swam, I ran, and I biked, but it was not at any kind of significant intensity, and it was more just to stay fit for the race, to have some volume in me, so that just time on my feet. Oh, last night was freaking crazy. The storm comes through in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., and it is one hellacious storm, but we didn't know it. Well, I think I kind of sensed it a little bit, and then Emily and I are sleeping in our bed, and she kind of rolls over and faces away from me, and then all of a sudden goes, "Holy crap!" like that. It's like, I sat up and I go, "What the hell?" And Kai, our 9-year-old, was standing there in the bedroom in the dark, just staring inches away from the bed, just standing there. And he goes, "I'm scared," because it was lightning and stuff. And I said, "You're scared? What? Freaking demon child, man. Like, what are you doing?" You scared the hell out of everybody in the house. And so we stayed up a little bit last night watching the weather and watching the storm pass through, making sure there was no tornado warnings. And there was a bunch of tornadoes all across the United States last night. And it was really intense. The wind was really, really strong. And then it blew through, and then it got really cold this morning. Cold for down here. It's in the 50s, I think. So but before all that, last night, so I didn't get good sleep last night, but I was like okay with it. I was like, oh, well, you're tapering for a race, and you don't have any workouts that are like critical, so it's okay if stay up with your kid, make sure he's happy and safe, and well, you should every night anyway. But I'm just saying, whatever. And then so when I woke up this morning, I missed my alarm and I snoozed a little bit apparently, and I didn't get in as long as a swim as I wanted. But I was like, that's good actually. Cut it short because I'm tapering, so it's all right. And so like instead of an hour swim, I got in like 43 minutes or something like that. So no big deal. And then and I did a lot of swimming with my head out of the water this morning. I started doing that about 2 swims ago, swimming more and more with my head out of the water, sight practicing. Galveston Bay is murky, so you're not going to be able to see anything. And then, but also yesterday evening, yesterday all I did was run, and I ran at lunch. And my past few lunch runs, I've been running in the heat on purpose. Oh, and I did a guest blog post. Oh, what's the website? Swim Bike Stumble is the name of the blog, so Google that. I did a blog post, a guest blog post with a photo of what's in my run bag for work, and an explanation of all the stuff that I use. And it's specifically focused at trying to run in the middle of the day on purpose to get hot, so that race day at Ironman Texas, well, it's too far away from Ironman Texas for, heat training to be really effective right now. But so I was doing it, getting in the practice, in the groove for it for Galveston, because Galveston could have been a hot race. It looks like the weather right now, it may not be a hot race at all. It may be pretty cool, which actually I'll go faster because I do faster in cool races. I run better. And then we may not even have a swim at Galveston because of lightning. Who knows? We've got fronts and crazy storms and stuff coming through. It's all scheduled by Mother Nature. And for Sunday, looking at the forecast. But if it's anything like last night, it blows through in an hour, And anyway, so yesterday evening, after dinner, was it after dinner? Yeah, I think after dinner. I went and picked Kai up from triathlon practice and talked to his coach for a little bit. Oh, that reminds me of something else. Anyway, I talked to his coach for a little bit, and just for like a minute. And then we got home, had some dinner, and then Kai wanted to do like full-on combat on our trampoline in the backyard. And Emily got up there too. And just lots of double bouncing and people screaming and asking, for me to stop, because I'd like weigh double of everybody else on there, so I can bounce people until they basically pee their pants. And man, it's a good workout. When you're going anaerobic on a trampoline and have to fall down to catch your breath and lay there while other people jump on top of you, then that's good family fun, right? So then, what was the other thing? Oh, so then this morning, that was yesterday evening. This morning when I go swim, well, Kai's triathlon coach is in the water too, and he's got a woman with him in another lane. He's kind of talking to her some, and so I hop in, and then Louis goes, "Hey, Brett, how's it going? This is my sister, and she's doing there's a local triathlon this weekend, and she's doing a local triathlon here, so I'm giving her some swim tips." And I go, "Oh, cool." So we swam a few laps, and then I noticed, she said, "Yeah, if you know anything, let me know." And I said, basically, the summary of what I've learned, and this is really insightful. There's so much to this, and those of you that know exactly what I'm talking about. I said, it's easy to do the highest cadence that you can possibly sustain without going anaerobic. And that's it. And she goes, "Huh, okay, yeah, that makes sense." And it's true. With the MAF training I've done, you can learn where your limit is aerobically, because that's something you can sustain for long periods of time is aerobic. And the more time you spend on that line just below going anaerobic, your body, your timing with how fast your cadence gets more and more improved, and you end up getting a higher and higher and higher cadence with everything, swim, bike, and run, because you get better at it. It's like playing a riff on a guitar. The more you do it, the faster you get, and the faster you get, and the faster you get, until it's just a blur, right? But the whole time you're being aerobic, right? So you can see it in the running world, where you see somebody plodding along at a really low cadence versus somebody with a really high turnover, who's going to be faster. And the person with the really high turnover is going to be faster, but they've got to be aerobic, to sustain it. So if you go to the edge of aerobic and focus on a high cadence, you end up getting better and better. Your coordination gets better so that you can keep spinning your legs or your arms faster and faster and faster. And you're like, well, what if I'm just spinning through the water with my hands? Well, the more you do it, the more proprioception that you get, where you learn to feel a grip on the water. So now you're going faster and you're getting a better grip, and the timing and everything. And with running, it's you get a better feel for push off with the higher turnover. And with cycling, you get a better alignment of your legs and a better push with your legs and a better position that you can sustain at a really high turnover. And that's it. That's really all there is to it. So, and then all that training, it's just like you can go forever. It's really crazy. And the more you do it, that's the other thing I've learned from all the volume, is the more you do it, the better you get, the more of an expert you get at your own body and when you need to pull back a little bit and regain some energy because you went a little bit too hard. But all you got to do is just, pull back for like a minute, not even sometimes, and then all of a sudden your body recuperates and you can pick back up again, and go, okay, well, that was a little bit too hard. How hard's the right amount of hard, So that's it. Got to go out, bing. Whole lot more here in a bit. How do I do this? Where do I stop it? There it goes. There, yeah. All right, we are on the beach, if you can't tell by the screaming seagulls. Mine. And the surf is awesome today. Look at those over there, right? So if you're new to the show, I used to surf a lot and was really into it, and then picked up swimming again for surf practice because we live so far from the beach. And then eventually just got into doing triathlon and kind of got away from surfing. But we still got all my surfboards and stuff. And I was even in a surf contest where I got last place.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But anyway, on occasion, Texas has about once a week we have a good day.
We just had that big storm too.
And it's weather driven here, like local weather driven. And we just had all this storm come through. So now these waves are beautiful today.
Clear.
And the water's actually clear today. Water in Galveston is usually brown. And so now we're walking down the beach, looking at seashells. We walked out on a jetty. And
it's maybe seaweed. Okay. What is that?
That's seaweed.
Seaweed.
Eat it. That's nasty. No. So how you feeling? You feeling relaxed all of a sudden?
Yeah, we got a pretty good location this year, right by a good restaurant, right across the street from the beach.
Right by a good restaurant. Come on!
Next to Kroger.
We're next to Kroger. Next to the restaurant.
And supposedly they have a heated pool, so Kai can swim in the pool later.
So, a laughing gull is a gull that goes, Did you know that, Dave? Yep. There's different kinds of seagulls. So if you listen to the way they call, there weren't one. It went, like that. That's a laughing gull. So, oh, look at those breaking out there by the jetty. So it's Friday evening. We got not tons of daylight, but we got a nice walk in. Kai's picking up gross crap out of the water.
That quartz or rock?
Hey Kai, do you like the beach?
Yes.
What do you like doing at the beach?
Named after the ocean. So.
Playing.
Playing.
Yeah.
All right. We need to come to the beach more often now.
He's named after the ocean, man. You better like
I know.
Anyway, we're gonna get
So,
some food.
we're going to get some dinner. And my strategy right now is usually when we travel to a race, I end up not eating enough because I'm like, oh, it'll double as, like making sure I don't overeat before a race. And I think I end up having trouble during the race because I haven't eaten enough. And I'm on purpose not doing that. If I get hungry, I eat. I don't put it off. So we drove through Houston almost rush hour. We got to Galveston right before 5, right? Mm-hmm. And or right at 5. So I think that's it. The waves are crashing really. Man, they're really big right there. They're pumping. We need to get a stand-up paddleboard. Do more water stuff. There's a surfer right here. So I remember the first time I ever saw surfing, I was like, I got to do this. This is the coolest thing ever. So then I graduated up to triathlon, I think. Anyway, that's it. That was a laughing goal. Did you hear that one, May? Kai, where's your shoes?
Right here. Stop before you get all in the sand.
I can get your feet wet and carry you over to the sidewalk. How about that?
All right.
Let's do that. Mommy, you carry my shoes. All right. Out.
You cannot go do the bike or the run. You're done. And we will take your chip. When you walk
all right, I am
area, you will go
at the race meeting before the race. You can hear them going on in the background about the swim. In fact, you might not even be able to hear me very well. But I thought you'd enjoy the soundscape here. We are on a big open field. It's windswept. It's overcast. It's cold. Not too cold, but it's like about 60 degrees. And there's a giant paddle wheeler behind him as he's giving his talk up on a little stage. A big Ironman logo behind him, and a Jeep Grand Cherokee to the right of him, and a Jeep Wrangler on the left. They're sponsors. And then I'm facing him, looking out over the body of water. That's a big bayou. It's really a bay that we're going to swim in. It's salt water.
On the swim, you're going to
and
get a new chip at the
we're
bike start. Okay, so
well, let's see. Behind me is the transition area with 2,500 bikes in it or so. And it's the same area where Lance parked his Learjet several years ago when I raced him. And oh, a glasses table.
If you need something right as you're coming out of the water, a pair of glasses, prescription glasses, that's going to be at the swim exit. Do not take it to the swim start. And expect us to bring it back to the swim
That's interesting.
Exit.
I didn't know they did that.
Drop it off at the swim exit. And then follow somebody.
So they have a table at the swim exit where you can leave glasses and stuff, so that when you
actually for Ironman races it's real easy.
You come out of the water, you can grab your glasses. That's kind of cool.
We can move everything, but with the waves we cannot.
Anyway,
do that. All right.
So Emily and Kai are about to join me over here. We had a show fan named Keith come up to me. I'm wearing my Zen and the Art of Triathlon t-shirt, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, are you Brett?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I listen to the show." So that was pretty cool, man. If you ever see me somewhere, let me know. I love talking to people, so obviously. All right, we'll pick up again here in a minute.
Why did they take off good abs?
I don't know. I'm here.
So now you're recording me.
I'm recording with you. Where? So I'm here with Tri Evangelist. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah. And we're talking about, let's see, 70.3 Austin, Buffalo Springs. You're thinking about doing Buffalo Springs?
Yeah. Might be crazy enough.
Depending on how you do today. There's $25 off the torture chamber of Buffalo Springs.
If I survive this.
You survive this?
If I survive tomorrow.
I remember Buffalo Springs, I finished the bike, and then I ran about 100 feet. And then then I had to walk.
Well, that's what happened.
And that's the one where I finished, and the guy finished right behind me. He goes, "Man, that was so awesome. You look terrible, and you would not stop."
Dude. Well, it's like, okay, so I did Austin 5 years ago, and my wife was there, and I remember telling her after that, I'm not sure how soon I want to repeat this experience.
Yeah, it's really rough. It's rough. Yeah.
I mean, these things are really rough, and so now I'm back.
My goal for years was, Emily will remember, to actually run the entire run of a half Ironman. Yeah. I was finishing them at 13-minute mile, 13 and a half, 14-minute mile, especially that one in Bernie is like so really rough, and Buffalo Springs. And then I got to where I ran the entire one, and I was doing like 15-minute miles, like 16-minute miles, because I was having to really just implode, you know. Then I got to where I could run it, the whole thing, and that was like a 12-minute mile, 13-minute mile, you know. And then I started being able to run a little bit faster. and then I managed to finally like run like hard one, and then be like, wow, that's pretty good.
What's that whole thing you talk about where your body kind of catches up,
Yeah.
and your heart rate gets down, you kind of recover, and your body starts being able to process fuel again. And,
by slowing down.
Like I remember in Austin, the frozen strawberries.
Yeah.
Those were like,
Yeah.
that was like the nectar of the gods, and it like transformed me into a person who could actually run again.
Yeah. So you said you're going to do Austin this fall.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do it too, probably. I haven't signed up yet, but
That's cool.
I'm probably going to do it.
Tomorrow we're here at the same race today. Tomorrow we're going to be in the same swim wave.
Yeah, that's right. The exact same swim wave.
We're in the same. Our bike racks are on the same bike.
Yeah.
You know, our bikes.
We're wearing the same T-shirt right now.
And we are. We're total Twinkies. We're ZenTri Army Twinkies.
Yeah. This feels pretty good, doesn't it?
It's crazy. I know.
Hey, he's in my cult.
That's right. John Hirsch has his evil racing cult.
Oh, we're way better than that.
We've
got ZenTri Army.
That's right, the ZenTri Army.
That's right. What do you think, Kai? How do we look on our shirts?
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
We're totally Zen.
You want
All right.
to ask the talk? What? You want to ask the talk?
What? What? What's going on? Oh, his personality out of control. It's going to start doing some push-ups is what I think.
I smell. Sounds like good audio.
Yeah.
Good podcast
What did he say? Not worth repeating. All right. Okay, cool, man. So we're going to have fun.
We are, man. I'm excited. It's going to be great.
Cool. Thanks for doing the interview, man.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for interviewing me. It's good to be here.
All right. We are back in the hotel room the night before the race. I feel like we've had a really good weekend, bae. Emily's putting on her PJs. It's after 7. It's PJ time. And Kai is on an iPad building a house on stilts. He's inspired by the stilts of the houses on the island. Out in the water in Minecraft. Right, Kai?
Mm-hmm.
And the house has a whole deck around the outside. Are you building the stairways down to the water level so that people can walk down?
Not right now.
Okay, you will in a little bit. And I have Google Maps up, and I'm looking at the race course. There's some changes with a few more turns in the race course, and it's funny how a course evolves over the years. And with it being rainy tomorrow morning is probably what we're going to get. Then these turns might be interesting. Might have a few wipeouts as people are trying to go fast through these turns. And let's see, last night we ate at Tortugas. My go-to food all right, I'm back. We had a little emergency there. Anyway, we didn't. The go-to food in Texas and lots of places is Mexican food because you can get beans and rice and salsa, which is really fruits and veggies. And then however much meat you want, you get fajita-style meat, and you can kind of pick, and not too much cheese because I found that cheese is too greasy, and it'll give you an upset stomach the next day during the race. And guacamole seems to be pretty much okay, but not too much of that either. But tacos al carbon is a good one, and so is just plain old fajitas. So Friday night, ate at Tortugas, which is on the seawall, then boxed up the leftovers, brought them back and snacked on them later at night, and then today. And then tonight went to Salsa's, and both times we sat real close to the windows, looking out over the water, right, babe? And we went to the Strand earlier today, which is old historic downtown Galveston, which has a whole bunch of shops and stuff. Emily wanted to do a bunch of stuff like that and do there's a carnival. What do you call that? Pleasure Pier. It's not. Yeah. Anyway, they got roller coasters and stuff like that, and I was like, that's too much walking for me to do a race the next day. I have to run a half marathon the next day. So we went to Academy, and I bought a long sleeve I was going to do Under Armour if I couldn't find anything else, but BCG is really cheap. And I got BCG compression top that's like super tight. And I'll wear that over the top of my Amrita kit to get a little extra warmth tomorrow. And I might wear it under my wetsuit so I don't have to try to put it on tomorrow while I'm getting on the bike. I can just hop on the bike and already have it on. And then, or take off the wetsuit and already have it on. And I've actually got gloves. I thought that far ahead. And I'll have them in the transition area, and I'll decide whether to put them on or not when I get to the bike. There's a whole lot of stuff. It's really interesting. I've learned over the years with a whole lot of things, not just triathlon. But I'll start worrying. Well, not worrying, but it'll start consuming my mind, planning about what should I do then? What should I do then? Should I wear gloves or not? Like all these decisions. And I'm like, I don't need to decide right now. I can decide tomorrow, so don't worry about it. And because the weather is actually the big determiner, and there's a chance it'll be warm enough, and there's also a chance it'll be cold enough. So who knows? So just bring the gloves and put them in the transition area and decide when. So come here, Ray. You having fun?
Mm-hmm. It's been a really good weekend. Fun.
What Mexican food did you get at the Mexican restaurant tonight?
Quit making fun of me. I got a cheeseburger because...
Oh, a Mexican cheeseburger?
Because we ate at Tortugas last night, and I had just eaten the half of my enchilada before we went earlier. I had enough Mexican food.
Are you picking at your armpit right now? What's going on?
Something on my arm. Anyway. So, yeah, we're having a great time. Kai's kind of bummed that we haven't gotten to spend more time, like, at the beach, in the water. But we've done other stuff this time that we don't usually do, like the Strand. Yeah. And yes, I am very upset that we didn't get to go to the Carnival Pleasure Pier thing.
Why don't y'all go to that tomorrow while I'm... There was nobody on it. There was none of the rides were going.
Because it was too cold.
Well, if it's raining tomorrow, we're not going to be able to leave.
I guess that's too bad then.
Maybe when it's over, we can drive down and I can at least walk down the pier by myself and look at it.
Yeah. We can call you on your cell phone and you can tell us what it's like.
Yeah, I'll ride all the roller coasters by
Okay, so I don't like roller coasters.
Neither does Kai.
And it's so funny that Kai doesn't either. Emily loves them.
Yes.
And
all those rides like that where it drops you upside down and flips you around.
I don't like them at all. And so I think it's just funny that
it's so funny.
A family event at an amusement park, that's the word I was looking for, at an amusement park would be just Emily doing all the rides and Kai and I sitting around eating cotton candy or something like that. Just sitting on a bench.
I'm sure I can find someone that'll ride with me.
Nah. Nope.
Okay.
So Kai, are you excited about tomorrow?
Yes.
What are you going to do tomorrow to not be bored while I'm out doing this race?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Start thinking tonight of things you can do.
But this race, the half Ironman with you, it goes by so fast. By the time really, there's not a whole lot of time to kill like at Ironman Texas, So like we'll watch you start to swim, and then we have to hurry and get back over to see you get out of the swim because you're only in the water for like 30 minutes, and then once we see you on the bike, that'll probably be the longer part that we want.
I think my bike ride should take 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so really
depending.
It's not that long. So we'll probably try to find some food at that point and then come back and watch you come in on the bike and then see you do the different loops on the run. I mean, there's really...
Yeah, that's true. It's not that bad.
It's not like trying to kill 12 hours. So, but anyway, so it'll be
It's not like I'm gone on like a 5-6 hour bike ride.
Yeah. So, and we can look for the other people we met this weekend that I got their numbers and stuff.
Okay, so cool. Y'all have fun, right?
Mm-hmm. We always have fun.
Okay.
Unless it's pouring down rain. I'm not going to be thrilled, but we'll be out there.
That's true. I agree with you on that one. All right. Well, cool. That's it for tonight. I've got to, you can go back to whatever you were doing, babe. I'm going to talk to myself for a minute. Okay, you can lurk there. No, my hair is apparently pushed down on my face. Okay, thanks, babe. God.
Go look in the mirror.
I don't want to. We just went to the grocery store and got groceries for overnight, food for tomorrow. We have Amrita bars, but as a backup, Cliff bars, a Gatorade pre-race, whatever that thing is in a plastic pouch nowadays. And then, let's see, what else did we get? Oh, we got some eggs and a glass little jar thing to cook scrambled eggs in the morning in case I want some. We got some oatmeal. My race fuel tonight, I'm going to make in a bike bottle. I'm going to make my entire fuel for the bike ride, and I've already got however many gels per hour, and I'm just going to squeeze them, and I'm calculating 2.5 hours, so I'm squeezing them into the bottle, and then some extra to go along with it. And they have 4 aid stations on the bike, so I can grab something if I'm starting to feel like it's not going to last. And what else, babe?
I don't know. Wait to start moving things around until you're done.
Uh-oh. Emily's going to start nesting here in a minute, so I better get out of the way or else I'll get put into a drawer or something. And I put a helmet sticker on the helmet and race number on the race belt and lay out my stuff for tomorrow. And we already calculated backwards from when the transition area closes of what time we need to leave in the morning. So we're all set. Now it's just chill time. That's it. It's been nice. Way to make a weekend out of the race, for sure. All right, out. All right, I am in the transition area. Morning of the race. Leaving the transition area, the body marking area. And walking over to the, well, that's a lot of nervous energy back there. I'm glad to be out of that. Walking over to the hotel. It is 6:30 in the morning, and my wave doesn't start until 7:50. I'm all done getting my bike set up. And let's see, I need to figure out where I'm going. Let's go this way. I'm walking around Moody Gardens. Moody is the family. The super wealthy family. They got this whole place established, and it's a giant aquarium and 3D Max, whatever it's called, theater, all that stuff. Penguins. So, you can hear all the ruckus going on over there. It's very foggy and misting rain, but not really raining. It's raining just the tiniest bit. So I think this is as cold as it's going to get. And even though I'm not exercising, but I'm a little bit chilly, but it's 65 degrees and it's going to warm up to 70. And winds will be out of the southeast at first and then the south, and we're riding right into that. So then we turn around and come back. So on the way back we'll have a tailwind and kind of start warming up. Oh, whoa, that was intense. So I've got a grocery sack full of food and water, and I'm going to hang out with Emily and Kai until it gets close to my race start time, and then put on my wetsuit, strip down out of my jacket and shorts, then put on my wetsuit. Well, I sure took the long way around. I'm not sure I'm going the right way. And I was thinking I could be in the bushes if there was nobody here. I still might do that anyway. Hold on. Okay, Emily just called me and said she's laying on the couch that's right next to the Starbucks. So I learned this, I guess it was last year or the year before, is go to the race site, the transition area and everything, barefoot, and it's cold and windy. It's just kind of a general mess of being in elements and nervous energy. And then with all that nervous energy, you don't really make good decisions. You know, you're like, maybe I shouldn't eat, maybe I should eat. Start getting all kinds of weird stuff going on. You can go to the Moody Gardens Hotel, and they have this lobby and a Starbucks, and it's like a 4 or 5 star hotel, I guess. It's like really, really nice. So it's engineered to be all like soothing, pleasant, very sophisticated. So you can sit there and listen to like orchestra music gently playing in the background instead of using a porta-can where you can't see anything because it's dark and it reeks. Oh, let's see. I heard a thing. That's 6:40. Pro Wave doesn't start till 7, I think. The bathrooms in there have like multiple stalls and marble countertops, and everything's air conditioned and nice. It's very pleasant. So in my grocery sack, I've got bottles of water and Amrita bars, Cliff bars. Amrita bars are actually soothing on the stomach. That's what I'm going to start eating here to snack on. So I got calories up until the end. And mind process, MIND process, is if anything goes wrong in this race, I'm not really that worried about it. Like, say, mechanical. I'm not, like, wrecking kind of sucks. But I'm saying, like, I get to the transition area and I have to spend extra time finding my shoes because somebody's moved them or something like that. Or I got a flat tire and I got to fix it. Ooh, nice Nissan 300Z. Very pretty. The point to this race is just a demonstration to myself of what I've done in training to make sure that I'm all nice and fit. And the real race is Ironman Texas. And Ironman Texas is so long that if something happens in that race, it just takes a minute or two. It really won't affect you because it's such a long day. So this is only a long day as well, a long half day. So to just really enjoy it and not get all caught up. This race more than ever, I don't seem to have much anxiety, which is nice. So I'm now in the parking garage under the hotel. There's an elevator in the parking garage that goes up to the hotel. I'm going to take that, see Emily. We'll pick up again there. Out. Once I learn how to turn this thing on. All right, I'm here with ZenTri nurse and Kai. We're walking to the race start. How's it going?
It's a little nippy.
You got a nap in the hotel
Yeah.
lobby on the couches?
Couch. Yeah.
They're kind of homeless.
What are you trying to say?
How about you, Kai?
Comfortable.
We gave Kai my phone and let him play. What were you playing?
Angry Birds Star Wars.
Angry Birds Star Wars. How'd you do?
Good.
Okay, there's our effervescent Kai with lots of words.
How was it having a Starbucks waiting for you when you sat down?
That was awesome.
Took that long to cool it down.
Yeah.
Had left the top off for a while.
Yeah. So, friends, that's the way to do it at this race. Totally depends on how your wave starts are. We still got half an hour, almost half an hour until mine. So we're just taking our time. Sun's up. It's stopped raining, but it's daylight. Emily's upset. There's not enough sun. 70 degrees, so it feels cool. So with the breeze, it's jackets and trying to stay warm, but very humid, right?
I'm cold. I don't know.
So it's like we're in a tundra rainforest.
Yeah, we are. Actually.
And I stayed up way too late last night watching Game of Thrones, man. I'm now so into it. It's so good. I like it. We don't get Habo, though, do we?
No, we don't get Habo.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to watch it online or something like that. Catch up. Anyway, that's it. Maybe more before the race start. Maybe not. Here's the big hill on the run, Kai. This is it. It rises like, what do you say, 8 feet? 9 feet? But you got to go over this 3 times. By the end of the run, you feel it. You're like, damn it. So, I don't think we can go this way. This is the wrong way. We got to go this way. Okay, that's it. Out. We've got confusion. We got to go back. I'm here with Kai after the race. And y'all hear that bittersweet symphony? I can feel in the moment. I can feel in the moment. A million different people from one day to the next. I can change my mode. No, 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 no. That's Emily and mine, your mom's and mine, wedding song.
I know.
I picked it out. And it wasn't popular yet, but when I first heard it, I was like, this is so beautiful. And it's got classical, and apparently it's got some Rolling Stones in there. The guy who's the singer is Jagger. I got moves like Jagger. Can you sing that part? You're not going to? Anyway, I did 440. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. I got a lot of stuff to tell y'all. I did a lot of stuff right and proved a lot of stuff, like the math. I proved both that math works and that loading up on the bike works so that you don't even need to eat on the run. So we'll get all to that in a minute. Emily went to the car to get my jacket. I'm having post-race cold. Not terrible, but if I walk a long way to the car into the wind, I'll go kind of mildly hypothermic, so I'm going to sit here and Emily's going to get my car and bring it back. It's a hurricane simulator. That's cool. And then I asked Kai if he wants to play Angry Birds on my phone. What'd you say?
Yes.
So I'm going to give Kai the the phone. The Angry Birds machine. And he's going to have some fun. All right. Cool. Hey, thanks. Thanks for being support crew today. That was really nice.
You're welcome.
I liked it. Love you, man.
I love you.
All right, we are back. It's Tuesday after the race, Tuesday morning, leaving the pool. Hold on, I gotta zip up my fly. Okay. Nice little swim. After a race, usually the first thing I do to get back into the mode after taking a little bit of rest is a swim. Because for triathlon, your upper body's usually okay, or mostly okay. And the legs could use a little bit of therapy. And so swimming kind of shakes out the legs without any impact. It's kind of nice. And you get a little swim in. Feels good, get back on track without waiting too long. And then last night, Monday evening, I had a gift certificate for a massage that a family member had given me a while back. And so I'd scheduled that Swedish massage for an hour last night. And she was like, are there any problem areas? And I go, well, I've got a huge wetsuit burn on the right side of my neck. And my legs are really sore. And what else? I've got blisters across the tops of my feet from jumping on a trampoline with my son and pushing off, landing on my knees and pushing off with the tops of my feet. I ended up burning up my feet. So I got a bunch of little raw spots. She's like, okay, sounds totally weird. But anyway, I've got a nasty wetsuit burn. Let's go ahead and start covering the race. First off, I think when I left you last, we were talking about in the transition area that I was paying attention, where my bike was and stuff. So I did something. I had great transitions this time, really fast, much faster than ever before. And what I'd done is the row that my bike was on, and there's 2,500 people or so in this race. The row that my bike was on, I noticed a marking on the pavement that was distinctive just to that row. And then where my bike was down that row, it's a long walk, jog, run, down that row, my bike lined up exactly with a budget truck, a budget rental truck. Now that I think of it, that's not a very good thing to mark off of. Don't mark off of something that moves. Anyway, outside of the transition area, I could line up with a budget rental truck. Sorry, got the hiccups. And so when I came out of the swim, I just ran, just had faith in the marking on the pavement. It was a parking line, so it wasn't going anywhere. And then turned and then ran and then started looking for that truck, and then bam, was right there. So I had really fast transitions. Okay, so anyway, the swim, before the swim start, ran into John again. And I think another guy came up to me and said, "Hey, are you Brett from ZenTri?" And I said, "Yeah." And I think this guy's name was Jerry. And I had so many people come up to me before, during, and after the race that said they were fans of the show. I mean, that was super cool. So thanks, everybody. That really means a lot. And, of course, that's going to happen at a Texas Ironman, And it made the race so much more fun and exciting to have friends all going into the water together. We were really having a good time, guys. So that was really cool. Anyway, the swim, you jump off of a pier, your wave does, and you're all wearing the same color swim cap for your wave, and then you wait, and we were being fired off in waves about 3 minutes apart, and the pros went off at like 7 or 7:15 or something like that, and my wave was at 7:50. So I had, a wait. Before the swim, I drank a Gatorade, this packet that's like a plasticky thing. That's basically just, Gatorade. And jumped in the water, and there's 2,500 people in the race, 340 male 40 to 44 age group started, 300 finished 340 finished. So that's who I was racing against. And so my wave, they broke us up into 3 different waves. So you're, 110, 115 people per wave, right? And so we're all in the water waiting. We got a minute or two as the people in the waves in front of us are taking off. The wind is out of the northeast, so we're going to swim right into that. So there's rollers coming in. Not too bad, but definitely significant open water chop. Very, very, very much an open water choppy swim at first. So, and then there was a whole lot of laughing, as guys do, like, man, the water sure got warm all of a sudden, because everybody's peeing in their wetsuit, and around them, almost everybody was wearing a wetsuit. Rare occasion, there was somebody without one. I was wearing a DeSoto full-length, full-sleeve suit, which was nice and warm. And partway through the swim, the left arm in mine kind of fills up with water and starts dragging my arm down. I'm going to look at getting a DeSoto vest instead of a full, so I get better arm work out of my arms. I think I could swim faster than what I did. Anyway, but as far as fit, like, is choking you or being too tight or being a tall person, a DeSoto is 2-piece is just freaking great. Anyway, so gun or cannon or horn or whatever it was went off, and the Sunto Ambit has triathlon mode, and I forgot. I should have tested it again before I used it, because I usually do. Oh, I'm stuck behind somebody. I usually test this, and I forgot. It's got the best triathlon mode I've seen, way better than the Garmin 910, in that to switch between sports, like say you say you're done with the swim and you want to switch to transition, right? So you can time your transition and then switch to from transition to bike, stuff like that. You hold down the lap button for like 2 seconds or something like that. So it's a long press of the lap button. So there's no risk that you're going to switch modes by accident. And that is really, really cool, And I forgot that. So on I was worried that if I hit the lap button, I was by accident, that I was going to switch out of the swim and into the bike too soon. So I started the watch a few, like 30 seconds before I needed to. So my workout has the swim lasting just a tad bit longer than it's supposed to, like 31 and a half minutes instead of 31. So anyway, and my swim took 31 minutes. And so we take off, and in the practices leading up to this race, the 3 practices leading up, I swam a lot with my head out of the water and practicing sighting. And that really came in handy because we started swimming, and it's crazy, man. Like, it was choppy. and I've learned that you're wearing a wetsuit, so you're going to float no matter what. So just swim, let the water toss you around. Don't try to fight it. Just roll with it and just swim, and you'll be fine. And once you give in to that, you can actually kind of have a lot of fun. It's like, man, watch how these waves are bouncing me around, and I can't sink. It's kind of fun, and just keep swimming, and you'll make progress. And I did high cadence and was sighting and stuff, and I barely went off course just a little bit one time. And it's a 3-leg swim, so the first leg was into the wind, and then I noticed that around me there was only 2 other guys that were my speed, and there was nobody in front of me. And so I was like, holy crap, we're winning the swim for our age group, and we're out in front, and then I thought, well, don't get crazy, don't get sucked into winning the swim, because that's how you lose a triathlon, is overdoing it on the swim, So just relax and use these guys as pacers to let you know what could be done, but don't kill yourself to stay with them if they take off, and try to draft off of them. I tried drafting a little bit off of one of them, and it kind of worked. And then after a while, I'm like, I don't know what's going on around here. It's so choppy, and like can't really see where everybody's going. I could draft off of somebody and end up going the wrong way. So, or going off course really. And so at one point we turned the first buoy, and after that turn, shortly after that turn, we weren't even to the first buoy yet. We started catching the waves in front of us, and you can just see these people that are just overwhelmed in the swim, like panicking, looking around, holding on to the boats and all kinds of stuff. And I know it sucks, right? You're not a good swimmer, and this is choppy water and it's rough. My recommendation always is swim in a pool without lane ropes with a lot of people in it. Swim angles all over the place. Get in the open water, in the open ocean if you can. Try to pick up surfing as a sport. Once you learn, not even really learn to surf, but once you try to learn to surf, swimming open water just seems so much easier. And surfing's a lot more accessible than you think it is. So then I got to go into W to the ERK, but I'll leave you with this. I noticed then it was 3 of us that were in the lead with the white swim caps, and then all of a sudden there was 2, and we're about halfway through the swim, and then all this sighting practice was keeping me right on track, like where to go. And I don't sight on the buoy right in front of me. I sight about 3 buoys down and head for that one in general. Then all of a sudden I noticed that the guy I had just sighted, so I knew I was going the right way. And then I saw the guy that I was that was in my wave, that was going my speed, the last guy that I was racing against. He was heading the wrong direction. He was swerving off to the right and heading off at a 45-degree angle off to the. He just gotten turned, and I felt like there was a little bit of current or something, and I was like, "Ha ha! He's gone. Now it's all mine." And I'll finish up the swim here in a minute when we come back. All right, bam. All right, I'm back. Leaving Freebird's burrito. Ate about half the burrito, and I'm gonna swing by my house and get my bike set up on the trainer so that I can ride on it later. Not gonna bike ride. Step 1 is just getting it on the trainer. So anyway, so where were we? We're on the swim. I'm leaving on the swim. I'm on the 3rd leg of the swim. So we've made this final turn, and we're swimming towards this like paddle wheeler, and we're gonna come in, and you can sight pretty easily now, well, comparatively speaking. And I'm fully in the mix of the previous waves ahead of us. There's people freaking everywhere and trying to swim through that, and without hurting myself or banging into anybody. And then what happened? Oh, I look around a little bit, and I can't see the guy anymore that was my competition for winning the wave. And so now it's just me with a white cap on. And I'm like, I'm winning! I'm winning just my wave, but I'm winning, man. And it was really, really cool. That is such an awesome feeling, at least in some part of a race, to be in the front, And I knew it wasn't going to last very long, so I just enjoy it. And let's see, during the swim, I did MAF swimming, which is maximum aerobic function. I'm pulling without going into lactic burn, and I'm keeping a high cadence, and I'm breathing without having to huff too hard for air, and just going with that. However fast that is how fast it is, and just kind of throw yourself into the pit, and that's what you get. So then got a little bit of water in my goggles. So a trick that you can do that I did twice was you do a spin. You roll over on your back to do backstroke so that you're still moving, and then you pop your goggles so that your water runs out, and then continue rolling over onto your other side and start swimming freestyle again. And I did that twice, one for each eye socket. And never really lost momentum, kept on going. The GPS track for the Sunto Ambit shows a nice track. A couple times kind of went off course, maybe just a little bit, but nothing too serious. It's nice. And then coming out of the water, there's kind of a narrow plank. They should have a wider plank because people were having to stop and stand to get up the plank, and the water's kind of murky, and they were worried about there's kind of little step ups on it. You could bang your feet up pretty bad if you're not careful. So they're like, careful, right here, so people are pausing, and what that does is it causes congestion. And I'm like, man, I don't want that other guy to catch me. So I start not really pushing or shoving, but gently pushing my way between people that are just kind of standing there. Because I'm in a race, man, so I'm like coming through like that, but not in a jerk way. At least I hope not. And so I push through, and then I start running, and they have wetsuit strippers, and I ran past them because a DeSoto wetsuit you can get off nice and easily yourself, and it's a pretty short jog, like 50 yards or something like that to the transition area maybe. Pretty quick, and that's one of the reasons this race is so great, is the transition area is set up really nice. And the deal was as I took the DeSoto top off, it popped my goggles off the top of my head, and I thought it might have, but I wasn't sure, so I just kept running, and then people yelled, "You dropped your goggles!" So I turned around and grabbed my goggles, and it's 4 seconds, and then turned around and kept running. And when I got to my bike, I took off the rest of the wetsuit, and like I said, I was able to find my bike. I just put my head down and ran where I thought I was supposed to be, looked up, and there I was. And I was in the right spot. And looking back now, I had no trouble whatsoever running. And a lot of times you come out of the swim and you got a head rush, especially a longer swim, like a half Ironman or longer. You can be kind of tired after that swim. And looking back, I was like, man, I was through that swim into my bike. A lot of that transition T1 fast time had to do with good pacing on the swim and fitness. So the 2 weeks leading up before the swim, I did 21 hours of training. So I think I was just aerobically more fit. Like I was able to run and find my bike. And found everything, put on my helmet, and clear glasses because it was raining. And then, kind of raining. And what I have is clear glasses that I got at a auto shop one time. I bought some, protective eyewear, so it was like $10, and they're just clear. I threw them away yesterday because they're old and they're all scratched up now. So they don't. I noticed on the bike ride they kind of sucked, and I was like, they used to be great, and so I tossed them yesterday. But I hop on the bike. Well, no, I put on socks. And because I've got these blisters on my feet, and the socks are going to help with that. And so then I put on my cycling shoes. This race, they do let you leave your bike pump in the transition area, and they also let you clip your bike shoes to your pedals if you want. And you can run to the bike start and just hop on your bike and then slip your feet into your shoes if you can do that. But there's a lot of turns and stuff at the beginning of this race, and I figured I would just rather run. And my bike was right in the middle of the transition area, so it wasn't like a really long haul with bike shoes on. So snapped on the helmet. You don't need your race number at this race. They've changed the rules on the bike. You can put it on just during the run. Your bike already has a number on it. Your arms have numbers on it. Your legs have numbers on it. We know who you are. Your helmet has a number on it. I didn't need to put on a race bump. So hopped on the bike, turned on the bike computer, the Sunto Ambit, changed it, and then took off. And like I said, a really, really fast T1. And then I started hauling ass on the bike and was... I'm waiting for this car to go by. Okay, well, I'll go. And the first thing you do when you get on the bike is you wait for your heart rate to start coming down, because your heart rate's all crazy from doing the running and the swimming and all that. The running and the swimming. And it can be a little weird. So what you do is, if you have a power meter, is keep an eye on the power and make sure that you're putting out the right amount of power for your bike ride, because your heart rate is not a good indicator, because it's all over the place briefly, and you gotta wait for it to settle down. And but if you don't push it all, waiting for your heart rate to settle down, you're losing time. You need to put out the right amount of power. And so actually, the very first part of the bike ride, I underpowered it, and I figured it was okay. I could make up for it in the end. And besides, we had a tailwind. And I will pick up with the bike ride here in a little bit. Hold on. All right, I'm back. On my way home. But only just got literally a couple minutes here. So I'm on the bike, and I'm pedaling along and watching my power meter. And the power meter, my goal for the entire bike ride is, I did 220 watts. All right, I'm back. Sorry, phone call. Anyway, so I want to average more than 220 watts because I know I'm capable of it now. I've done so much bike work. But I started off on the bike and my legs were a little bit sore. And I was like, yeah, but I went into this race with hardly any taper, just like 3 days of taper, which isn't enough if this was an A race. So I noticed that at first, after a while, my average watts was like 210. And I'm like, oh, well, that's okay, because we got a tailwind, and you don't need to put out much power to haul ass, right? So I just stayed at the 210 end of things for a while, and then gradually pushed it up. I hit the lap button on my watch to get a new average every 20 minutes or so, 20 to 30 minutes, and then brought it up then started doing 220, and then I'll talk about this in a minute, but the last third of the bike ride, I pushed it. I got up to 220, and then the last third, I wanted to average more, so I pushed pretty hard and got an overall average of a 225, which actually I was kind of wanted more like a 230 or so, but my legs were sore, so I didn't really, try to kill myself there. And then let's see. So anyway, I'm 20 minutes in the bike, and it's raining, sorta. It's misting, and so the weather conditions aren't great, but it's not bad because it's a tailwind, and the riding was kind of pleasant, but I'm blowing by people, right? Just like flying past people, and I'm like, wow, I must be awesome. And then I looked at my watts, and I'm only putting out very low 200s, and I'm like, okay, I'm not trying all that hard. So this isn't going to last. I am not awesome. I'm going to start getting passed by a lot of people pretty quick, So anyway, I'm riding along for the first 20 minutes, no one passes me, and I'm like, I'm winning. It felt so awesome. I'm like, I'm in the lead. How long will this last? Oh, so enjoy this. You're in the lead. This is so cool. So I was having a really good time, right? And then 20 minutes in, somebody blows by me with a 41 or a 40 or whatever on their calf. And I was like, well, there it went. That was it. And I'm talking about, I thought I was going fast. Blows by me like I'm standing still. And I was like, wow, that's an Uber cyclist, whoever that is. And then I don't know if it was him that was first, because I don't remember what the people looked like that passed me, except for one person in particular. I remember he passed me, and he had on a specific outfit that I remembered because I passed him back later. And he, but Dave Mira was in the race, and he's a former BMX world champion. He's like a superstar cyclist, BMX cyclist. And he was racing in my age group, and I averaged 24 miles per hour on the bike, and he averaged 26 and change, I think, on the bike. And he was one of those that passed me on the bike, obviously doing, some insane speed. So that was pretty cool to find out later that I was passed by one of my heroes, So anyway, that's it for now. I'll come back with the rest of the bike ride here in a minute. I got to go run inside and eat some dinner. All right, and we're back. I'm in the house. Just went for an evening road bike ride. And I think I averaged 18.4 miles per hour, which is pretty good for hills and really strong wind on a road bike. Just 2 days. 2 days? 2 days after doing a half Ironman. So I think we're going to hop over to a real quick training tip here. I think I've figured out something that really makes sense. The key to cycling fast over a period of time, like saying a couple hours or something, so you got to race, right, is to be able, in training, you do this. Put down even pressure, consistent, never letting up, pressure on the pedals, making forward progress, firm the entire time. But the entire time, and in contrast, your upper body is really relaxed. So it's kind of like a balancing act. And it reminds me of what we do in swimming, which is to pull firmly with your arms, and be rotating those, but keep your body, your torso and your legs in a completely different position that's elongated and narrow, right? And then relax and let the arms do the work. And on the bike, I noticed that if you separate the upper body so that it's very, very relaxed and you can breathe and it's very fluid. Just relax the upper body and let the legs do the work. You're actually letting your breathing mechanism get a whole lot of work done, and you're very relaxed, and it's feeding the lower half that's doing the work lots of oxygen and extra calories because it's so relaxed. It was really, really nice, very therapeutic. And then, let's see, do I need to close any of these doors? Emily's borrowing my car tomorrow, so I need to get my stuff out of it for whatever I decide to do tomorrow. And I need to get this towel. Anyway, so while I was biking, I remembered a few things that I wanted to mention on the race. During the race, I averaged 90 RPM, which for me is really high, which is proof that you can practice it in training and it'll show up on race day. I've been working on getting a higher cadence, and I did it. I'm sure all the past years it has been much lower than that. And an average of 90. I remember one time I looked down and I was doing 100. 104, I think. And it wasn't like a freak number. I mean, that's what I was doing. And I was like, okay, you're going to wear yourself out. You don't need to do 104. And let me get this. There's a towel in my car. I might take it to work so I can towel off after I run at lunch or something. And also, I've done just tons and tons of work on my bike position, trying to find something that's comfortable. And I had a wonderful bike ride with no pains, no anything. And I noticed that I was lower, my head position was lower than many other people that were approaching my height, say like 6 foot. I'm 6'3", and I'm lower to the pavement. As I'd pass them, I'd notice that I was just lower than people that were, big guys like me. And I was like, cool. I love that. Very comfortable. And let me get this stuff inside. Hey, Kai. I'm recording the podcast. You want to be on it? We're going to do your coaching segment.
Okay.
Let's do it. Not right now, but a little bit later, okay?
Okay.
You want to do it now?
Okay.
All right. We're going to briefly do Kai's coaching segment. Intro music. Sing a song.
I don't have one. I really don't have
Be like, chang, 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 chang.
Chang, 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 chang.
Kai's. What's the happy song?
I don't want to sing it.
Okay. Anyway. You can practice that another time. Here, let's go in your coaching headquarters in here. So Kai is very, very much wanting to save up for a mountain bike, a specialized, I can't remember the model, but anyway, it's got gears on it. And so when Kai rides his BMX bike with me, he's all the time having to get off, and I'm having to carry his bike. He's trying to push his bike around. So he talked about doing extra chores and then trying to save up money to buy this bike. It's a $360 something bike.
Yeah, that's right.
And then today, and he really wants it. He's been doing a lot of chores around the house, and a lot of extra stuff, right?
Yeah.
And being a very good kid about it, and very diligent. So I'm very proud of him. And but it's going to take a long time to earn $350. And so
I could earn $50 each week.
Yeah. So so then Kai came up with, hey, why don't I open a lemonade stand? And I said, you know what's even better? Because lemonade stands only open while you're there. And I said, what's even better is if you do something where you can get some sort of payback from people that appreciate your knowledge on something, and you can help people. I go, what do you know about lemonade? That it's sweet and that it's liquid, right?
I mean, that's exactly what I said.
And that's about it, right?
Yeah.
And I said, what do you know about triathlon?
And I said a lot.
Yeah. So, Kai, how many years have you been a triathlete on a team? Even like 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Yeah. And we were trying to figure out how many triathlons you've done, and it's
Done about 15.
yeah, about 15 triathlons. And Kai is one of the top kids in his age group. He's often getting first, second, third, fourth, something like that at races. And he's been coached by really good coaches, lots of coaches on a team. And you just came back from, well, you did soccer practice tonight. But what'd you do yesterday for triathlon practice?
I swam and I ran.
Okay, about an hour each, right?
Yeah.
And you're 9 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what you're doing. And what are you doing tomorrow? Same thing?
I don't really know. I think it's bike practice and swim practice.
Okay, swim and bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got a disc wheel on your bike, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kai's kind of a pro here. And so anyway, we thought we would do a segment on the podcast called Kai's Coaching, right? Mm-hmm. Kai's Coaching for Kids. And this is meant for other kids that listen to the show or parents of kids. And Kai's going to give advice, and I'll lead them along the way. And then if you feel like he gave good advice that's useful, then think about helping Kai reach his goal towards his bike. And you can go to the ZenTri podcast, zentriathlon.com, on the left-hand side of the page, and donate to Kai's bike. And when it says the note, like a comment, when you do the PayPal donation, you can put in there, this is for Kai's bike, thanks for the advice, or whatever your thing is, but make it, for Kai's bike so that I know. So it can go towards his fund, towards his bike. And this way, he's working for a bike, right?
Yes.
And you're doing something that's online 24/7 that people can listen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to actually help people, right? Okay, so
That's right.
it's even better than trying to sell overpriced sugar water. Okay, so we're here on Kai's beanbag in his room, right? And we got Kona.
It's headquarters secret.
Okay. And the cool thing about the bike is I can go trail running, and then Kai can ride his mountain bike with me.
Then you don't really have to push.
I don't have to push your bike and pick it up and carry it all the time because you can switch gears, right?
Right.
And you will become even a better triathlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I said, oh great, the cat just came, the mountain lion just came in. He's purring against the microphone. Okay. He's like, man, Kai's got some advice. I'm ready. Okay, quit dragging it out. All right, so what we're going to do is just one little thing per episode, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to talk about the swim, the pool swim, right? Because there's open water. You've done an open water swim. You've swam an open water triathlon in Galveston Bay in salt water with there's sharks and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but that's on Galveston Bay. Okay, so but today most kids' triathlons are in pools, right?
Right.
So you're going to give us advice for kids and parents, so the parents can pass it on to their kids, about how to do a triathlon swim that's a pool swim. Okay? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what do I need to know? What have most of your pool swims been like? Like, how many yards? Like up and back or what?
It's about 400.
Yeah? 400 yards? That's pretty wild, man.
No, 200.
200?
It's 200.
Yeah, they might. I think I've seen one up to 400. Okay, so it depends on the age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you, does everybody start in the water all at once?
No, you go one at a time.
Right, and that's okay?
That's okay.
Yeah. So you had some tips, like what do you do when you dive in the water? Do you dive in, or do you jump in, or what do you do?
Dive in.
So how do you keep the goggles from flying off your face?
I don't really know.
You do some test dives and make sure that they don't pop off, right?
Yeah.
So you know they're not going to come off. Let's say they do come off. What is something that you've done when you've dove in the water and you?
I just keep on swimming.
Keep on swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop, right?
Don't stop. Never stop.
Oh, all right. Kai's kids coaching, never stop. Okay. Then what happens if you're scared? What do you do? What have you done when you were scared?
I Just do it.
Just do it? Just keep going. It'll be over soon? Okay, so you swim freestyle pretty fast, right? And
Yeah.
do you breathe on the one side or both sides?
Sometimes both sides, sometimes one side.
Why? What makes you breathe to two sides?
I don't know.
But you've practiced it so you can, right?
Yeah.
So in practice, swim so that you can breathe both sides, because sometimes you just need to.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say that there's somebody in your way and you have to go around them. What do you do? What do you do when there's somebody?
I go to the side, but I don't go into the other lane.
Right.
I just keep on. I go to the left, and then I go around them.
Yeah, you squeeze past them a little bit.
Then when I really get in front of them, I go back to that side.
Okay, that works. Now, what happens a lot of times when you get to the other end of the pool, for example?
There's another lane you have to go through.
Right. So how do you get in that other lane the fastest way?
You push off streamline, and you go under the water, and you don't go over the water, like floating on top of the water.
So you'll hit the lane rope.
Yeah, you'll hit the lane rope.
Right. So you go deep.
Deep.
And turn a little bit.
Yeah, turn a little.
Yeah. So when you swim, how hard do you swim in this?
I'd say medium. You don't want to waste your energy.
Yeah.
On the whole in this swim.
I totally agree, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then when you get to the other side, let's say it's an up and back, right? Like it's an up and back swim in like a 50-meter pool. So that would be 100 meters, right? So but maybe you do twice. I've seen it where y'all do that twice. You'll do like 4 lanes or something. And then how do you like to get out of the water and get to the transition area? What do you do?
So when I get to the end of the pool, I stop, then I push up with my hands and get on top.
Do you hop up to your feet, or do you hop and sit on your butt and then stand up?
Hop and sit on your butt.
Yeah, you think that's faster? When I do the hop and then get to my feet, sometimes I bang my shins into the edge.
It's kind of dangerous.
Yeah. Okay, so you suggest that they hop and sit on their butt. Hop out, sit on your butt, then stand. Now, they got their goggles and swim cap on. Do they take them off right then, or do they just start running and take them off, or what do you like to do?
I like to start running and take them off.
Okay.
Before you get to the transition area.
Okay, so they're in your hand now by the time you get to the transition area.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so this has been how to do a pool swim for a kid's triathlon. You swim medium, right? Hop in, swim freestyle, breathe to whatever side you need to. Practice so you can breathe both sides. If somebody gets in your way, you swim around them. What do you do if somebody tries to pass you?
You don't want to swim faster.
Yeah. You need to let them go by? Yeah, okay. What happens if you crash into somebody head on? You start punching them in the face and tell them they're a jerk?
No.
Look on your face. The look on your face. You're like, what? What a horrible person. Okay, so you're nice, right? The pool's kind of a dangerous thing, right? People could get hurt and drown, so you need to be kind in the pool, right?
Right.
Yeah, and help somebody. What if somebody's drowning? What do?
You help them.
You help them, right? Yeah. We're all people. We all need help. So, okay. And so next week we'll cover open water.
Okay.
Right? You've done like one of those, but you've swam open water lots, right? At the lake.
Lake Bryan for triathlon practice.
Yeah, and you've done the Kima Kids, which was open water. Okay, so we'll talk about that next episode, right? I thought it was really useful. Yeah. That's something that adults can use too, right? So if you're a parent and you're watching your kid do a kids triathlon,
cheer them on.
Cheer them on, right?
But
they probably can't hear you very well, right?
But if you're a kid, don't look at them because you'll get distracted and a lot of people will pass you.
That's true. I see that happen a lot, right? Mm-hmm. What do you like me and Mommy to do while you're racing in a pool race?
I like y'all to cheer on.
Uh-huh. Do you like where we can be where you can see us?
Sometimes when I'm breathing, yeah.
Yeah? You like that?
Uh-huh.
You like to know that we're there watching?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like to hear us yell your name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can almost always hear your name, but my name.
Yeah? Okay. Suji's back. Suji approves of this coaching message.
I think he does.
And should parents be worried about you, or are you having fun?
You're having fun.
You're having fun?
Mm-hmm. It's not a competition. It's just about having fun.
Yeah. It's kind of a competition, isn't it?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Especially when the animals in here.
Yeah. All right. We gotta go back. Thanks, man. That was really good. Do you have any exit music? Kai's coaching. Kai's coaching for kids. Kids. All right. That's good, dude. That's good. All right, people, if you found that useful, donate to Kai's Bike Fund. We'll post it online, how much progress he's making. Okay, out. All right, and we are back. We are leaving the ZenTri home studios to go to the orifice, the work. Oh, this is what I was looking for, this towel. I'm trying to gather up things, turn off lights. Turn off lights. My dad, man, jeez, walk around the house constantly. Turn off the lights. Okay, we are now at the front door. Had a really interesting morning. Lock, boop, boop. Then walk down the long estate drive to the car, and we are here. Driving Emily's car today. Emily's banged up Honda Civic because she's using my car to take Kai's bike. My car has the bike rack. Kai's bike to try practice. That was nice last night, him doing the little coaching bit for us. I hope to turn that into something down the road. Wouldn't that be cool? All right. And I rode my bike this morning and have cool stuff to tell you. We'll get back to the race here in a second. I woke up at 4:30 this morning and decided, well, since I'm up, might as well get on the bike. And did an hour and a half on the trainer. Oh, hear that? Oh, my. Okay, hour and a half on the trainer. And interesting thing, when you're training for Ironman, there is no such thing as junk miles. As long as you're working out right. It's just volume. And the whole point is trying to find more time on your feet, more time in the saddle, especially on the bike. As evidence in this race, I went slower on the swim, slower on the run than I usually do. And that's because it's kind of the swim was choppier, and then the run was kind of I'll tell you in a minute, was kind of a training day run to kind of experiment to see what happens at different heart rates. And I still had a 7-minute PR because I went so much faster on the bike. So get on the trainer, and there's a difference between like a half-hour ride. Okay, so like what's the difference between doing 2 1-hour bike rides and 1 2-hour bike ride? Well, the 2-hour bike ride, you've eliminated a little bit of the warm-up, and now you're in a sustained state for longer. So it's a much better workout. And then you're doing it, let's say you do it on the trainer. Man, there's no stopping, there's just pedaling, So just go. And then I'm listening to this audiobook called The Rise of Superman. And it's your typical, get into the state of flow and you can be awesome kind of book. And they do talk a lot about flow. So on the bike, for example, and on the run, well, I guess on all of it, what you're actually looking for is a state I guess it's homeostasis, but there's a state you can get into of where you're fueling just right, and it's feeding the system, and then the system is cruising along and burning fat and fuel and carbs, and everything feels good, your position's good, and the system promotes the action promotes the activity. Okay, so there's a type of jet called a scramjet, and it goes so fast that the faster it goes, the more air it rams into the front. Isn't it called a ramjet? So a scramjet. Yeah, the more air it rams into the front. The more air it rams into the front, the faster it goes. So it's kind of an out of control death spiral because it just goes faster and faster and faster. So you can kind of do that with your training. You get into the state of flow where it's so good, whatever you're doing, that the whole point, that it feels so good that all you want to do is continue doing it, right? You want to continue. And so on the bike this morning, I was like, all you're working on, all you really want, Brett, as you're training for Ironman Texas, is to just make it feel good so that you want to keep going, because the whole point is to keep going. Honking at Emily, she's stuck in line. Right? Because with Ironman training, it's just volume that makes you better on race day, and for most of us. And if you can, if you can find the trick to keep you going, well, then you'll get more of the volume in, right? So you're constantly asking yourself, what does it take to get into this flow state where I just want to keep going and keep going and keep going? And, it's comfort. It's definitely comfort, and it's the right amount of fueling, not too much, not too little. And what is it? Is it music? Is it videos? What's going to keep you in that flow state so that you get an hour and a half in instead of just 30 minutes, right? And that you're happy about it. Everything's fine as long as you're happy about it. The state of the world is fine as long as you're happy about it, And so one of the examples in the book, again, it's The Rise of Superman. One of the examples in the book is this guy built a ramp to skateboard a jump a skateboard over the Great Wall of China. And when he did it, he broke a world record. And then he figured, well, it felt so good, and the ramp's there. Well, he did it like 3 more times or something like that. And then he started doing like 360 spins or something in it while he was doing the jump. And, just setting world records. And he was doing it because it just felt great. So once he figured out, the mechanics that make it work, then it's addictive, to keep going and keep doing it. So anyway, that was my bike ride this morning. I was listening to Pandora music, Alice in Chains, and old Metallica, and Godsmack, things like that. And I'm just riding along and really enjoying the metabolic state of that. Heart rate's good, power's good, comfort's good. I got a little bit of a boil of an ingrown hair on the right Krizach right side, because I got one of these double prong saddles, and I'm working with that. That's my difficulty right now. My Zen training is, how do I deal with that? But anyway, so let's go back to the race. So I'm riding my bike this morning, and I'm just kind of looking at my aero bars, feeling things with my hands, and I'm like, man, these Zip VUCA Return to Center R2C shifters sure were nice during the race. So during the race, I'm cruising along, and if you listen to the last podcast, I upgraded my bike with new shifters because my old ones were falling apart, and so I decided to buy nice ones, and I couldn't afford the electronic shifters. That's out of my price range by a lot. So I bought these return to center aerodynamic shifters, and man, are they freaking cool. And they worked great during the race. And during the race, I was like, man, usually when I race or I go for a training ride, I'm irritated. Just a little bit. It's like a sand that creates a pearl. I'm just irritated, just enough to be annoyed by the lack of aerodynamics in my old style shifters with levers like sticking up and looking all stupid. I got a guy that just decided to run right up on my rear. Anyway, so then let me cruise control. I'm at 73. We got a 75 mile per hour freeway. And there we go. And the where did I leave off? It's hard to think when you got a guy sitting on your rear windshield. You can go around, dude. You're super awesome. You got it. You can do 90 miles an hour. It's cool. So I'm riding along. Oh, and then my cadence was in the upper 90s. And sometimes off and on, we already talked about that. And on the way out, there was a tailwind. And you can only go so fast with your ability. So I sat up because now the wind isn't a problem. It's just road friction. So sitting up or sitting down doesn't really matter that much. And so I would sit up every once in a while, and then just kind of riding along. And so then a couple other guys passed me. They're in my age group, and it's an out and back. So turned around, and on purpose on my bike computer, not looking. I don't have speed displayed because that's a trap. It's like, well, I averaged 25 miles an hour on the way out. Well, I need to average 25 miles per hour on the way back. Well, on the way back, you got a headwind, and the trying to average 25 miles per hour on the way back would be a disaster because now you're trying too hard, and you're going to blow up, right? So anyway, I turn around, and on the way back, now we've got the wind kind of shifted directions, kind of near the turnaround, and so now it's a crosswind, and a little bit of a headwind, but nowhere near the headwind that we were going to have to turn into. There was a front that came through. Anyway, so it made the bike speeds just a little bit faster, like a couple minutes. And I was mentioning that on the bike is a significant portion of the race, more significant than the swim and the run. So for a lot of us, investing time in the bike will actually improve your race time because you'll be faster on the bike. As long as your run is okay, and investing time on the bike will make your bike time a little bit faster, and you won't be so fatigued from the bike so that when you do run, your run can be a little bit more relaxed and less stressful. Okay, so on the way back, now I'm having to make up for the lack of power on the way out. So on the way out, I averaged 220 by the time I got to the turnaround, and 220 watts. And then, so on the way back, I'm like, well, I know I'm capable of more than that, and let's try it. So I pushed a little bit harder on the way back, and by the time I finished the bike ride, I was at 225 watts, which means on the way back, I probably, on the way out, I averaged 220, and on the way back, I averaged probably like 230. So that was nice. And I was surprised I didn't average a little bit more than that, but I'm like, well, I hardly tapered at all, and my legs are a little bit sore on the bike, so that probably explains why. On the way back, the last couple miles, the last mile for sure, is pretty rough pavement. Except for that section, the pavement is gloriously smooth and beautiful and wonderful. The course is just incredible, safe, and just nice. And there's a couple of those speed bumps that have that aren't rigid speed bumps. They're more like a big lump, speed bump. And there's a guy way in front of me, that was cresting one. And I don't think it was really the speed bump itself that did this, but he was cresting one. And when he was at the top of it, his rear wheel blew out. And it went blam! And he was skidding all over the place trying to control that bike. At that point, we had turned and we had a little bit of a tailwind. So this was a fast guy, I could tell. And so he's probably doing 30 miles an hour and his rear wheel blows out. I've had this happen. You still can steer kind of, but your back end is on like ice and it's like sliding all over the place and you're trying not to hit other people. And that was crazy. And there was occasionally people on the side of the road, with flat tires and things like that. And that really sucks. And that hasn't happened to me in a while, so it's due to happen. And then, let's see. The pavement, if you ever do this race, hold on the pavement across that airport runway because it is rough. It's square blocks of concrete that were laid down, for this airport. And there's a big section of it where they don't use it anymore. So there's grass that's grown up, like weeds and stuff, between the sections. So it's bumpy, and like tiles of concrete that are 10 by 10 or something like that. But you're doing like a really high speed. So you're hitting these things at off angles and whatever. I mean, it is crazy. And it knocked my bike computer upside down and it knocked my aero bottle. And I remember it did this last year too. It knocked my aero bottle almost completely off my aero bars from the bouncing around. And that was pretty crazy. And okay, so now we're rolling into T2, which was the same transition area as T1, and getting ready to start the run. And we'll pick up with the rest of the race review from there. All right, out, bing. All right, we are back. Oh, it's a beautiful evening. I'm going to go for a bike ride and swing by Kai's bicycle practice for triathlon. And we got an email from his teacher at school saying what a great kid he is, and she's just happy to have him in her class. Unsolicited email, just saying that. So that's great, man. As a parent, and then having him on the podcast, giving advice of triathlon stuff, that's like a little dream come true, man. I'm really proud of him. Okay, the bike. Just a little ways into the bike, let's say like 20 or 30 minutes, I reached down for more fuel from my fuel bottle. I mixed up a whole bunch of gels into a bottle. Yeah, you're not going to run that red light, dude. Sorry. Anyway, so I reached down and I was like, whoa, there is not much of this fuel bottle left. I think I've drank too much fuel too fast. And then later in the bike ride, I felt that way as well. I started burping a little bit, and I was like, oh, dang it. I've probably ate too much fuel too fast. And what I'd done was I figured 500 calories an hour. I weigh 176 pounds, and it's a half Ironman. I'm going pretty hard. So 500 calories per hour. And it's going to be 2 hours and change. I figured 2 hours and 20, 2 hours and 30 minutes, something like that. So I put in 12 gels. And the nice thing about mixing gels in one of these bottles is they mix up really easily, and you can put in as much caffeine or as little caffeine as you want, right? So out of those 12 gels, 10 of them were regular and 2 of them were caffeinated. So basically the equivalent of a cup of coffee while on the bike ride, right? So it's nice. But anyway, I didn't kind of screw up. I screwed up pretty decently. It kind of messed up my race a little bit. But I ate the fuel too fast. And the bottle is opaque, and I'm thinking about instead getting a transparent bottle, and it's an Aero bottle, so it costs money to buy one of these. I really should do that so that I see how much fuel I have left, because when it's opaque, you can't really tell, so you can't meter out, like, as obviously you're doing it by feel, like shaking the bottle, and that could be misleading. So yeah, I really should do that. Get a clear bottle. So towards the end of the bike ride, I didn't feel really sick to my stomach, but I could tell I'd eaten too much fuel, and now it was time to not do much. Okay, and then we're going to get to the run. On the run, I realized, I wasn't feeling good on the run, and then the next day I realized, I was running on basically 12 gels. And that's fine if you drink enough water to dilute it. And I'd only drank a couple of bottles of water. And so that's not enough water for as much gels as that I ate. Like nowhere near enough. So that explains why I didn't feel good. So then on the transition 2, I ran in, used that pavement marking to get my bike where it needed to be really, really quick. Had a really fast T2. And took off on the run. And then I noticed on the run immediately that I was, looking back, that I was actually immediately feeling good, which is pretty cool. Which means I didn't bike too hard, so that was nice. And then a lot of times I have a numb left foot, and it's because of my bike position. And I didn't have that this time. And so that means I've really improved my bike position so that I don't get numbness and weird things like that. So that was really good. And then after running a bit, I did get pain in my calves, of all things. And I thought that was kind of interesting. But that was pretty much it. And I just kind of settled in and started running. And then it was time to experiment with MAF. So on this podcast, we talk a ton about MAF, maximum aerobic function. If you go over a certain heart rate, and there's an easy formula, it's 180 minus your age. But basically what you do is you start with that, and then in training, you kind of fiddle around with how it feels, and you can kind of learn what it feels like to go anaerobic versus aerobic. And if you run below that heart rate, you should be able to sustain yourself for a long time and just run. And then if you run over that heart rate, eventually you're going to pop because you're going anaerobic, and you can only do that for so long before you run out of energy. And so in a long distance race, you want to stay aerobic, so you want to stay under a certain heart rate. And so let's say you're kind of new to endurance sports, or you're new to endurance sports, and I told you, and let's say you're 40 years old, and I said, so your maximum aerobic heart rate is 140, because it's 180 minus your age, so it'd be 140. And then a new person that's new to endurance sports would go run and go like, holy crap, my heart rate's nowhere near that low. If I run with my heart rate that low, I can only run like an 11 or 12 minute mile. And I would tell you, and so you're like, I'm different. This doesn't apply to me. And I would tell you that every single person that starts out training right says that exact same thing. Every single person. And then when they finally get fit, however they get fit, if they do it the right way or if they do it the wrong way, it takes longer, they go, wow, this is true. My heart rate did come down. Wow, holy cow. So you need to be able to run as fast as you can at that lower heart rate, right? If you're not happy with the results, then you're not happy with reality, and you need to train more to get that heart rate down. You need to get fast. So in my case, I need to get my speed at a 135 heart rate faster, right? So Gary, the guy I usually race against in this race, isn't there this year, and I don't know anybody in the race, and I'm training for Ironman Texas, really. So I'm not going to kill myself in this race to get a placing, to go as fast as I possibly can, right? And I'm like, well, let's just run. Let's experiment with this MAF thing and see what really happens. Got a half marathon laid out here in front of me. I'm off the bike. I kind of want to see all this MAF training, how it actually ends up holding up in a race. So let's pretend like I'm doing Ironman Texas, and I've got to run a full marathon, right? And I'm wearing a heart rate strap, and I'm looking at my Asunto Ambit 2 and reading the heart rate. So I start running, and I run at a heart rate of like 138, something like that, right? And I can run along just fine. I'm just cruising along, and I hit the splits on my watch at every mile marker, and this goes on, like 3-4 miles, and I'm like, oh, I'm averaging a 7:45, at MAF, right? And after the race, I was talking with Gary, and he was saying, I was telling him that if he'd been at the race, that I would have gone faster. And he's like, well, because we're guys and we're competitive. And he's like, well, I don't know about that. And then I'm like, no, seriously, my heart rate. If we look at my heart rate, the first part of the run, I'm just jogging. And I'm doing it because there's nobody there that I know personally that I'm trying to compete against. So I'm doing actually Ironman Texas kind of experimenting to see what happens, So I'm just jogging along. The years before when I've raced Gary, as soon as I hit the run, I pegged it out, like killing myself to freaking run. I was running at like way higher heart rate to try to beat Gary. And 1 year I did, and then the next year I didn't. So, I mean, like we're really, really competitive, like close in line with each other. So, so I'm running along. And so then after a while, I'm like, okay, this is amazing. It made me so happy. I can't tell you guys how happy I was. I was like, this MAF stuff is for real, man. And then I go, okay, I'm going to push the pace a little bit to over 140 and see if I can still eat and drink. So I push it over 140 to like 145, right? So I'm running a little bit faster. And all of a sudden I start feeling sick to my stomach. I can't eat, I can't drink. Heart rate starts climbing, and I'm like, whoa. So this would be a dumb idea at Ironman Texas to do this right from the start. So then I back off again, back down to sub 140, and all of a sudden I'm fine again, and I'm cruising along, and just like, wow, this is really, really cool. So, and I was having the time of my life, and I'm doing a sub 8, right? So I'm like, I'm happy. I'm like this is really good. If I did a sub 8 pace at Texas, Ironman Texas, I would be like so happy. And so anyways, I'm on cloud 9, just jogging along. And about halfway through the marathon, I go, okay, this is a race. I do want to see what I could actually do. So let's pick up the pace a little bit. And I start pushing the pace back up to anaerobic, like into the 150 something heart rate. And I start feeling sick to my stomach. And then I realize, yeah, man, that eating too much on the bike is making me sick now on the run. And up until now on the run, I've only eaten just the tiniest bit, like a half a cup of Gatorade, and I've been sipping on water. And then I realize as the half marathon goes on, then I start pushing the pace and running faster and faster. My stomach gets more and more upset, and I can't even take water down. My stomach hurts if I drink water, and that's just like on the last couple of miles. And then so it's 3 loops, and Kai and Emily came out and saw me like on each loop and stuff like that. It was really a lot of fun. And then several times on each loop. And then so like the last loop for sure, maybe a little bit before that, I really started running pretty fast. and stretching my stride out, and just gutted it out, even though my stomach was hurting pretty bad. And so when I finished, I realized I had maybe eaten 100 calories on that entire half marathon, and I was like, man, that's impressive. And I mean, it's sad, but it's also impressive what you can do on when you need to on almost nothing. And then no water even because that made my stomach hurt. The last third, or maybe even the last half. Yeah, last half. But anyway, the marathon went by really fast. The bike ride went by really fast. So I was both like super, super excited at how pleasant the run was, and that you can actually run these things, like in a nice mode and like really enjoy it and still run kind of fast. And that's the way racing should be. I was like, this is really nice. I'm just running along, like, wow. And I just kept thinking about Ironman Texas. What if, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what if I get off the bike, Ironman Texas, and I start my marathon and I just run at a 130 something heart rate, and just jog, and just jog through it. If I ate right and I don't screw up my gut, then I would have plenty of energy and would really enjoy the run. And wouldn't that be nice? I mean, so I was so happy because I saw a lot of potential for what could happen. I was a little bit disappointed, a lot disappointed, and that I'd eaten my fuel too fast on the bike, so it was making my stomach hurt. Because if this race went on much longer, I would eventually bonk because I wasn't able to eat because of the forced exertion there towards the end and eating too much on the bike. And on Slow Twitch, there was an interview with Dave Mira, the BMX guy, and they asked him what he ate, and he got 4th in my age group. I got 9th on the swim with a 31, 16th on the bike with a 220, which is 24 miles an hour, and then 21st on the run with like a 142 or something like that, half marathon. And the last year I got 10th on the swim instead of 9th on the swim, and but with a 30-minute swim. So I went a minute slower, but I actually do better the rougher the water is, I guess, compared to other people. Because I was a minute slower, but still was one place higher than everybody else. And then on the bike, I was one position faster. Because like last year, apparently I was 17th, and this year I was 16th. Now you're getting down to splitting hairs. And then on the run, I was a minute slower this year than last year. And last year I got like 18th place, and this year I got 21st by the time I crossed the finish line. But anyway, I came across the finish line, arms up over my head, just like, yeah, man, like a really successful race. I learned a lot about nutrition and everything. And the photo series from this race, I definitely look like super lean and muscular and like an Ironman. That's my whole goal, Like, am I doing it right for Ironman? And the photos that I'm looking at are like, yes, you're definitely doing it right. I'm coming off the bike without many problems. The nutrition problem's separate, but like without many aches and pains. I've learned how to do math, how to bring the heart rate down so that I can sustain and go longer. And everything was just awesome, like all the way through. The whole thing went faster because I was more clear because I was doing aerobic math. I've definitely got a path set in front of me of like what could be if I stick with this and keep getting faster and faster at this. So anyway, that's it. I need to go inside and make a sandwich and then hop on the bike and go see Kai. All right, out, bing. We got a lot more. All right, this should be the last entry for the training log for this episode. Leaving the pool, 1 hour math swim. Just swim for an hour as fast as you can go and keeping it aerobic. without killing yourself, and trying not to go too tempo or anything like that, because you got to keep swimming day after day after day. Anyway, 3,850 meters. It's almost 2.4 miles. I was swimming bilateral to try to clean up my form a little bit. If you breathe to one side, you end up getting all twisty in the water after a while, bending too much and relying on that. So swimming bilateral forces you to swim straighter, your body, torso straighter. So I was doing that. So I'm not used to breathing on my left side, so swimming almost as fast as I swim breathing on one side is actually pretty nice, because now I'm throwing in something different. Okay, what did we do? Let's see. Oh, the cross finish line of the race. Man, I was sore afterwards for a couple of days, and then went swimming. I think we talked about that. Kind of loosened things up. I didn't taper very much for this race, and I didn't chill out too much afterwards. This race was more of a workout for for Ironman Texas. So, and to figure out what I'm doing wrong so I can start doing it better, and what's left to train for what to work on between now and Ironman Texas, like 6 weeks. What did I mess up on, and what worked right, So what I messed up on was, and the family had a blast. So, and there was something else too. The family had a blast. Galveston is just a really cool place to go. It's really laid back. It's not that expensive, and it's beachy. It's pretty cool, man. It's my home surf break right now. It's along the seawall, like 31st Street, across from Academy, is where I used to go surf all the time. So a cool comment thread on Slow Twitch that popped up was people just being appreciative of how, and noticing how Texans at Galveston and Austin and Ironman Texas, kinda, but definitely people don't draft in Texas on the bike, and culturally here it's not cool. So if you want to do a race where you're not pissed off because there's people drafting off of each other, come do Galveston. It's just not accepted here, and people will freaking get in your face and tell you to cut it out if you're drafting. And I was in a race where I was not drafting, and I had a guy start yelling at me that I was drafting. And I was like, dude, 4 bike lengths. Actually, it was a USAT. It was 3 bike lengths. So I was like, dude, I'm fine. But anyway, 4 bike lengths in a WTC race, World Triathlon, Ironman brand. And, coming from a later wave towards the front, you're passing a bunch of people, so you can use a slingshot effect. You got to be a little careful, not get too close to people, but you draft off of them as you pass them. So you come up behind them and swing past. You got like 15 seconds or something to fully, maybe it's 7 seconds. But anyway, so even though it's steady state, triathlon steady state, you still got to practice and training the accelerating briefly to get past somebody. So you're going about the same speed as somebody, and you don't want to be drafting, and you especially don't want to be caught for drafting, penalized for drafting when you're not meaning to. So you got to put out an extra 50 watts or so to get past them, just briefly. So it's something to practice in training, Then it's a whole lot easier. Galveston, another example thing about Galveston is that it's there's no hills. So you have to be able to sustain a cadence and a wattage with no breaks for 2-3 hours, however long it's going to take you. And that can challenge a lot of people that are used to training on hilly terrain and using the downhills to coast and get a break. Okay, so anyway, I managed to twist this whole thing around into the family really enjoying it, which, as those of you that do triathlon with a family know, is it's probably more of an accomplishment than anything else. They were excited and had fun. So that's a huge plus. But anyway, what I need to work on is, and I've already started, these training days I've been doing since then, get right back into training, and working on not over-fueling and trying to find that the right amount of fuel that makes me feel good, but isn't in a 10, 20, 30 minutes going to start making me upset to my stomach. So yesterday's run, I kind of did that. I was like, maybe I should fuel with a little bit less, and then and get into that, high aerobic fat burning zone still, and see, and it worked. And then last night's bike ride, I went for an hour and 17 minutes, this loop, and instead of I backed off the fuel a little bit and kind of was patient and kind of felt for what gave me the fastest amount of speed aerobically on the right amount of fuel, and that worked as well. On a road bike in windy conditions, like 10, 15 mile an hour winds, nothing insane, but, wind breezy. For an hour and 17 minutes on rolling terrain, not really hilly, but just rolling, on a road bike, I averaged 18.8, and I'm like, man, and I was only in the drops just a little bit. And my road bike is not aero by any means. It's a round tube titanium, road bike. That's just a classic. It's new, but it's designed like a classic. So I just love it. So, and I'm wearing a jersey that's flapping in the wind, and I'm like 18.8, man. So, I called Morgan. I go, man, I freaking averaged 18.8 on a road bike, and on not much fuel. So like I was, well, it's not that it's not much. I want to clarify something. I think we need to get away from high carb, low carb, whatever, because it tends to lead people down, go in a direction to extremes. The actual right thing is to do workouts and experiment and find out what works for you and what the right feeling is, and about how long it takes for the fuel you take to start working. And then if you take what is too much, how does that feel? How much does that feel? And what is too little? And then also how water affects that, because you dilute it. If it's not diluted enough, it doesn't work. If it's diluted too much, it doesn't work. But if it's diluted just right, it does work. The amount of dilution depends on the heat and how hydrated you are and how much you've been eating, all that cool stuff. So that's that. So that's this episode. Let's see. And then this morning's swim, I did the same thing. I had a little bit less breakfast than usual, and then I had a water bottle. I'm noticing that I need a little bit more water and a little bit less carbs than what I've been doing, and I seem to be able to stay at a higher aerobic pace and sustain that, and it sustains itself like by itself. It's really interesting. And then after the workout, eat a bunch of carbs. Not a bunch, just whatever's left in my fuel bottle, and maybe half of a Lar bar or an Amrita bar or something, or maybe a whole one, and then just move on with my life. And that seems to be all right. Anyway, so that's what I'm working on. I'm very self-conscious about, I'm going to do some longer workouts where I'm like, oh, if I go really, really long and then try to run, long bike ride and then try to run, have I eaten enough, or am I blowing up? And, like Jesse Kropelnick, he says, you got to eat enough so that when you hit that run and it's hot and you don't want to eat, that you're not blowing up from not having enough fuel. So it gets tricky. Very, very tricky. So the best way is to experiment and find out. And let's get away from this whole high carb, low carb. It's right carb. Right carb for you, man. And let's see. It depends on, there's so many factors that make you right now, and where you are and what you are, totally, and what you've been and what you're going to do totally, changes your fueling plan. And you get to be an expert in that, then your whole setup, your whole triathlon lifestyle will probably be a whole lot better. You don't need to worry about all this high carb, low carb. Are you following somebody's dogma? You just know what works for you. Okay, then, and that leads me to say, you know, a lot of the stuff that you read is one person figuring out what works for them, and then yelling about it like it works for everybody. You know, to sell, you know, whatever their thing is, and to get attention. Like, well, I got it all figured out. No, they don't. Nobody does. Okay, so then let's see. Next episode, I'm going to try to get some interviews lined up again, and get you more news. And the triathlon season is heating up, and we're going to start trying to grow my volume up. Eventually, a couple weeks out from Ironman Texas, I want to be peaking at, I'm saying this, but who knows if it's going to happen, 27 hours a week, to see if it's possible and to see what it does. And future episodes will be more about the art of trying to fit all that crap in without pissing off everybody around me, and without feeling guilty about it. So you got to be like a scheduling ninja, you know? And so we'll figure out, you know, how hard that is. And the things I learn, I'll pass on to y'all from down here in Texas. Okay, that's it. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, unless you're at Galveston. And keep the rubber side down, out.